I'm Dave Anthony. Air raid sirens keep going off in Israel as Iran keeps fighting back.
We got that early alert coming across phones about 10 minutes ago. These sirens indicate that the missiles are inbound at this moment, sending the population here around 300,000 people just in Tel Aviv alone into bomb shelters.
That's Fox's Trey Yingst. At least 9 people are dead in Israel from Iran's missile counterattacks. Hezbollah's also fired rockets across the border from Lebanon. Israeli forces spokesman Nadav Shoshani says,
"We were ready for this. As part of the preparations for our operation in Iran, the IDF prepared for an attack from Hezbollah, allowing us to carry out a swift response."
And 30 Hezbollah militants have been killed, prompting Lebanon's government to hold an emergency meeting. Israeli and American forces also keep bombing Iran, targeting nuclear facilities and military and missile sites.
That ring of fire seen in the skies over Kuwait when a U.S. Air Force F-15 Strike Eagle was shot down from what appeared to be a case of friendly fire. The Kuwaiti Defense Ministry says multiple U.S. aircraft were shot down. There are no reports of casualties at this time. Both the pilot and weapons systems officer, the backseater, and one of the jets appeared in a cell phone video after parachuting to the ground.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson in Istanbul, Turkey. 3 American service members have been killed, 5 wounded.
We pray for the full recovery of the wounded and send our immense love and eternal gratitude to the families of the fallen.
President Trump says in that video on Truth Social there may be more American casualties in a campaign that could last weeks in Iran.
We have very strong objectives.
The president's also calling on Iranians to take over the government. The U.S. and Israeli strikes killed the supreme leader. Iran says today at least 555 deaths. While the conflict strands a lot of travelers, flights canceled across the region, more than 1,000 grounded to and from Dubai and Abu Dhabi. Oil prices surging, stock futures falling. America's listening to Fox News.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/Mike.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. This hour is presented by Subaru of Gwinnett. You'll love the difference. The Morning Extra, only on Extra 106.3.
Morning, y'all. Tug and Los until 10 on a good Monday morning. Glad that you're here. 404-741-1230 at Extra 106.3 across the social media platforms. A crazy, crazy weekend. Los was traveling with his daughters playing volleyball. I was traveling with my son playing baseball, but between every pitch, and I'm sure between every serve, it was like, all right, what's going on in this world that we're living in?
So we had AM wave on Friday, Saturday, and into Sunday. But with operations that occurred involving the United States and Israel and Iran, by Saturday afternoon, we're at the pool. And this is supposed to be like the chill time. And all the moms and all the dads are there, and the moms end up getting everybody fed, and then they all head off to go get ready for dinner. And now all the dads consolidate. And one of them goes, "So tell us about what's going on."
Yeah, help me understand this.
That was the last conversation I thought I'd be having poolside.
Yeah.
Would be a political one.
Well, it was probably the last conversation, that we thought would take place in the weekend. We knew the buildup was coming once the Gerald Ford got into theater. You'd have to be crazy not to think something was coming. The negotiations did not go well. Marco Rubio and that whole team had reported back to Trump, like, these dudes aren't budging, man. They're not moving.
They're not playing ball here.
Yeah, and we had it was crazy because normally those Operation Midnight Hammer, many like those, will take place at night under cover of darkness. Best defense. When you see the attack happen during the day, that's when you knew things were different. And that was because the CIA had great intel that said, we know where everybody is going to be at the exact time they're going to be there. If we're going to do this, now's the time.
Now, there's always going to be, the fog of war situation because we're getting different pieces of this information and the intelligence that was used and the capabilities that were used. But that's the one that you cannot doubt at all. That because of previous operations, the Iranians and the Iranians decided that meeting during the day was safer based on their defense systems.
Yeah, they figured they would never strike during the day.
They never strike during the day. Why would they do this? We can meet during the day.
And then you have the Ayatollah Khamenei and everybody in his, I don't know if you call it a cabinet.
His close circle of confidants and generals.
The people that run the country with him, as bad and as evil as they mostly are, but decided it was safe to do that. And I just can't imagine. Even when we do like the State of the Union, because we just had that, you always have somebody that's off to the side that does not attend just in case something, the most unlikely of things happen, and everybody in the government's killed. There's one person to run the government.
It's the line of succession and what's considered the designated survivor.
Doug Collins has been it the last 2 times. Doug Collins from here in Georgia that runs the VA. He's been the person that's
you stay back.
Yeah, right.
You're in the bunker.
Like I don't know how if you're Doug, do you not like me, or is that why I'm not getting invited, or do you like me a whole lot? That's the reason I'm staying back. Yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of funny that it's been him the last couple times, but they did not take that same strategy. They did not have that I know of. They didn't have anybody who was like, okay, we're going to leave you behind just in case this happens, because it's never going to happen. They will never bomb us during the middle of the day, and how would they know we're here anyway?
Again, it's the poolside conversation that we had Saturday, and I hate to break it down to, hey, here's 5 guys sitting around a table, but this is the general gist of what goes on in this country.
But that's what happened all across the country. You just happen to be at a volleyball tournament and at the pool.
I'm like Hilton poolside, this like beautiful spot, and this is what people wanted to talk about. And I felt weird about it in that I was able to discuss a lot more about what the response was going to be on the left versus where this is going to go, because when you cut off the head of the snake, you're hopeful that the people of that country will rise up and take their government back. And that was largely what Donald Trump was talking about. That was the message. Or something else more sinister grows out of that. We don't know. We'll just have to see how this plays out.
It's impossible to know.
But let's just say, let's take the estimate that's been out there, that in the past month and a half, you've had 40,000 protesters that have been rounded up and murdered by this government. Let's just cut it in half. Yeah. Let's cut it to a fourth. Let's say it's 10,000. How many is too much before you recognize that this thing is evil, it's been evil, and it's been at war with you since the 1970s?
Yeah, I think we've all known it. I think everybody's known it. I don't think anybody's had the courage to do what it takes to end that type of evil. Again, we don't know what spawns up from it, but that evil is eliminated, and that is a good thing. Nobody can argue that man not existing anymore is not a good thing.
Well, and then the next, okay, hey, we've got our next one.
Oh, next day he's gone.
He's gone too.
Check the box.
How many you want to do this? Now, the brunt of the fallout of all this now falls on the Israelis, because the Iranians are shooting all over the world.
Which was the biggest.
But a lot at Israel.
Yeah, of course, a lot at Israel. But I'm telling you, that was the biggest mistake they could have made, man.
This was the strategy that when you sent me a text message Saturday morning, and you said even the Saudis are involved in this, the whole region has aligned against Iran.
Yeah. There are reports out there, unconfirmed, there's no way for me to know, no way for anybody to know, that it was actually the Saudis, not the Iranians. I'm sorry, the Israelis that said we need to do this. That, like I said, unconfirmed, but I've read it multiple times from multiple sources, that it was the Saudis going, this might be the time to do this. And those people are fed up with living in the corner of the earth that one group changes the entire dynamic of everything that happens. They lash out, and you saw them lash out against UAE, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Qatar, Kuwait even. And that's where the three service members of ours were lost in that base in Kuwait. But that's the point, is they keep striking out and have been. What a terrible mistake to strike out at the people that you thought might be on your side and are no longer.
And to think, it's not just about what the Iranians are doing right now. This is from previous incidents that solidified the entire region against them. That because they did the same tactic of striking out at multiple targets across the Middle East. Anybody might have been involved in this, we're going to shoot at them. Well, all you did was then have them in lockstep against you. And you, it's not the Iranian people. It's that wild leadership at the top. That while the rest of the region has turned much more into how do we have a Middle East that is involved in technology, that is involved in the future, that is involved in a large amount of capitalism, you're the country that stays backwards.
Yeah.
And funds terrorism.
It's crazy because I saw Joey Jones, a post that he had made, and I thought it was such a good point. 25 years ago, we felt pretty strongly that there was some connection to the Saudis to 9/11. And he said in 25 years, we've changed that from a adversarial relationship into a positive relationship. And you're seeing that on display now. And you can add a lot of those other countries in the Middle East to that, too. And, dude, I would even say, and this is going to sound nuts from out of left field, we seem to have more in common with the Middle Easterners than we do the Europeans. The Europeans sat on their hands, even putting out, you heard Keir Starmer.
Sure.
Put out a message saying, we had nothing to do with this. We think the Iranians are illegal or evil. We had nothing to do with this. They wouldn't even let us use their base off Diego, or it's our base, but on their property, out on Diego Garcia in the Indian Ocean. And that looked so bad for them, Los, that yesterday they came out and were like, oh, yeah, you can use the bases now.
This is what I mean by how this is all played out. So we know when it comes to state sponsor of terrorism and making sure that, for instance, October 7th was able to occur in part because of money that has gone through these terrorist networks that have been filtered through Iran. By the time that you had in June of 2025, the Israelis retaliated by killing 30 of the generals there in Iran. What did Iran do? They shot at not just the Israelis, but they shot at 6 different countries in the region. And suddenly they were now all solidified against them. You were thinking that, hey, our Middle Eastern neighbors, they're going to look at these as the infidels. No, the Middle East looks at Iran as the problem, as the destabilizing agent in the entirety of the region, and they're on board with this.
Yeah, they're not wrong.
You know who's not on board with this? Europe and Democrats.
Yeah. And amazing.
Closely aligned in their socialism and their need to be subjects.
That's exactly right, dude. The Europeans and Democrats are so similar. And it's so sad because that's, I said this last week, I can't remember if it was Thursday or Friday, but this is where human rights started.
Yes, the Magna Carta came out of Europe.
Yeah.
And now it's, well, how many people can we arrest in Britain for mean things you post online?
God, it's unbelievable. I want you to hear from this Iranian man that was exactly opposite of the Europeans, exactly opposite of the Democrats. Listen to this.
Just want to say thank you, Donald Trump. You're a man of your word. You released 90 million hostages. They were hostage for 47 years. Thank you, Donald Trump. Thank you, Bibi.
Yeah, an Iranian man thanking the President of the United States and Bibi Netanyahu.
I saw a very funny post. I think this was Saturday night. And it was, the typical, as we always bring up, the greatest destructive force in our society right now is white liberal women. And she had posted about, how this is unlawful and awful and the worst thing that could happen. And it was one Iranian after another that was like, sit this one out. We've been waiting for this.
Y'all wrong.
This has been waited for since you had the Arab Spring, since we could have supported them under Barack Obama. Yet, what did the Iranians do? They rounded up people and slaughtered them. And then again, did it again. And so when you talk about if there's an MO for Trump 2.0, It is art of the deal, but the hammer is right behind his back.
Well, that's right, yeah.
Listen, Maduro, if you want to leave, here's what we'll do. And you will not be
we're not
extradition,
right.
None of it.
Yep.
Just get out. This is what's going to happen. Sorry, now here's what occurs. It's the same thing. You told the Iranians a number of times, stop the nuclear program. We know what you're doing. We have the intelligence on it. Okay, fine, we're going to bomb you. All right, we bombed you. Now, you can choose to start acting right. We are not going to allow you to be the destabilizing force in the region around the world. You're not going to get a nuclear weapon. Oh, you don't want to negotiate with that way? Fine.
Have it your way.
Have it your way.
Get you some Burger King.
It's going to be like
way.
Burger King.
That's right. Have it your way.
And your whole building that you're all in is now turned into rubble.
Yes. Another thing that I that came to me as I was watching all of this come down. You remember when Pete Hegseth was being confirmed? They're like, well, he's the weekend host at Fox News. What in the world does he know? He's just a Marine. He doesn't know anything. Dude, look at the operations that have occurred under Pete Hegseth with incredible precision, near perfection.
Surgical. We have yet to lose anyone in either of these two Iranian attacks and also what occurred in Venezuela. Now, yes, it is awful what happened in Kuwait.
But it was not part of the operation.
But the left tried to turn it into like, look, they're dead as part of the operation. There's 3 servicemen. This is a game for them, strictly out of the hatred of a president that is operating at a very high level in terms of international diplomacy. Or, yeah, I got my international stick.
Dude, near flawless. Trump, too. Trump also. Near flawless. Nobody's perfect, and I get it. But his foreign policy decisions and then carrying out the foreign policy actions, I don't know how you argue it. I don't care where you are politically. If you look at them just as a standalone, here's what he said he was going to do, and here's what he did. There is almost zero errors being made.
And here's the other aspect of this. For everyone that was pushing the World War III narrative on a regular basis, what you are now seeing is the Middle East align against one country. Tell me if you ever thought that was supposed to happen. Because initially it was always supposed to be, you know what, they're all going to align against Israel, and then here's where the fight's going to begin, and it'll be, World War III will start out of the Middle East. As it turns out, Israel and the UAE and Jordan and everywhere else goes, those people in Iran are so crazy, they don't distinguish the difference in any of us.
And that's the truth.
And that's what they're doing.
And that's exactly.
They're shooting at everybody.
Exactly right. That's exactly right, dude. Nobody wants to see war, but you have to realize there are things that must happen. There are things that make the world better. And I think we will all benefit from the crazy that was taken out in Iran. I'm not in favor of war. None of us are. But and those who are saying, well, this is not America first. I disagree completely. I think it's absolutely putting America first to take a maniacal maniac killer off the world stage.
Look what we've done. We have removed the Iranian, Russian, and Chinese influence from this hemisphere. Now that both of them have backed down, it was just the Iranians that just kept at it. Biggest state sponsor of terrorism, and they wanted a nuclear weapon, and you tried to negotiate.
Did exactly what you're supposed to do.
We'll see where it all goes, but as of right now, it's amazing how you can actually take out leadership of your enemy and not have to put boots on the ground, not spend $1 trillion, and not have the military-industrial complex have us in a 10-year war somewhere.
6 o'clock hour is brought to you by Subaru of Gwinnett. When we continue, Georgia's lieutenant governor is up next to talk about how to turn Georgia blood red on Xtra 106.3.
You've been warned. If the Dems win the midterms, the border opens back up. Impeachment comes down, and you get more riots in the streets. Now's the time to hunker down and vote red. Count on Xtra 106.3 to bring you the stories that matter from the most trusted voices in the country. Proud to be Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station. Xtra 106.3 FM and the Xtra app.
Attention, Xtra listeners. Tax season is here. Do you have a retirement tax strategy in place? Because tax planning for retirement is not just about reporting your taxes, it's about planning them. We work with you to create an efficient tax plan to take you through the next stage of life, the next 10 years, 20, 30, and beyond. We'll help keep the golden years golden. Our fiduciary team provides personalized guidance to keep your financial future secure. Don't wait. Plan now for peace of mind. Schedule your complimentary consultation today at masterplanretire.com. Masterplan Retirement Consultants. Plan well and prosper.
Advisory services offered through Masterplan Retirement Consultants, Inc., a registered investment advisory in the state of Georgia. Insurance, tax, and commodity services offered through Fricks & Associates, Inc., DBA Masterplan Retirement Consultants. The aforementioned are affiliated companies.
Big moments deserve big-time craftsmanship. At Solomon Brothers Jewelers, we've been family-owned and operated since 1982 because we know what it means to show up when it counts. Jaron Solomon here, and that's why we're proud to be an official Tacori jeweler. Each Tacori ring is handcrafted in California, going through 20 elite artisans before it hits your hands. Not mass-produced, not generic, always personal. And with Solomon Brothers, you get lifetime cleanings, unbeatable financing, and the largest Tacori selection in Georgia. Stop by a store in Buckhead, Alpharetta, or Sharpsburg. Visit SolomonBrothers.com to book your private appointment. Solomon Brothers Jewelers, where love is in the details and legends are built to last. Solomon Brothers Jewelers, proud partner of the Georgia Bulldogs and official jeweler of the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets.
It's the hardest working part of your home, your garage door. When it fails, you need someone you can trust. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage, Entry Doors, and Windows. When the largest and most important opening of your home breaks, don't hire a schmo. Call the local name you know, All Four Seasons. Ask your neighbors. We offer upfront pricing, free estimates on all major brands, and 24/7 service. When trust matters, trust us. All the number 4 seasonsgarages.com.
If you've received a notice from the IRS, do not ignore it. The IRS doesn't issue empty warnings. They will take action if you miss their deadlines. This is especially true if you own a business and you're behind on payroll taxes. The IRS can shut down your business, seize your accounts, even go after you personally. Now, trying to handle the IRS alone, a little bit risky, and could leave you in a much worse situation. You need professional support. So call Rush Tax Resolution at 877-554-RUSH. Rush Tax has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and is the only company I trust and recommend if you're facing IRS trouble. When you mention my name, Rush will provide a free IRS transcript investigation, a service that other firms typically charge about $500 for, often without even confirming that they can help you or not. Rush offers this upfront and for free, and they'll only take your case if they know they can help you, period. So don't wait or hope the problem disappears. Get a Rush tax attorney and protect yourself today. 877-554-RUSH. 877-554-7874. Or go to rushtaxresolution.com.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Monday, March 2nd, and here are your headlines. The father of Lincoln Riley has filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the University of Georgia school system and owners of a local Athens apartment complex, alleging the university school system failed to provide a safe environment in Athens and claim the Argo apartment complex, where the convicted killer lived, did not adequately screen tenants. The suit seeks $1 million in damages and claims negligence in the events leading up to her killing. Brian Wright, former senior pastor of Johnson Ferry Baptist Church in Marietta and founder of Right from the Heart Ministries, is sheltering in place in Jerusalem with his wife Ann and others after the U.S. airstrikes in Iran over the weekend. Marietta-based pastor says their group is safe but has taken cover in a hotel bomb shelter amid missile alerts and airspace shutdowns while waiting for a safe opportunity to return home. And finally, Cobb County will honor 31 of its star students and teachers at its annual Student Teacher Achievement Recognition Banquet, recognizing the district's highest SAT scores and the educators they selected as having the greatest impact on their academic success. The event highlights top performing seniors from high schools across the county and will occur March 3rd at 6 p.m. Today's weather is partly cloudy with a high of 71 and a low of 51. With your Extra 106.3 headlines, I'm Bryce Gobert.
Morning Extra and Extra 106.3. Ben Burnett in for Carlos Medina. My name is Tug Cowart. We welcome you to the Morning Extra and our guest this morning is Burt Jones, Lieutenant Governor, running for governor in the state of Georgia. Burt, how are you, sir?
Ben, hey, how you doing, man? I can't believe somebody let you have the radio station this morning. But
buddy, I'll let you respond to that.
You just always come in just swinging,
just out of the gate.
Yeah,
just because I like you, Ben.
Yeah, I know how it goes.
Dude, I'm telling you.
How are y'all doing this morning?
Well, thank you so much. Doing really well. It's funny because Ben and I have been talking all morning about the effectiveness of advertising, and I had a listener reach out to me and talk about that. She physically asked, what's it like having somebody come out of the blue into a race that came out swinging a little bit, and that advertising, whether true or not, has effectiveness, and that's what the listener said. Said, I don't know. I was Burt Jones all the way, and then now this Rick Jackson thing. Should I believe these ads? Do I still want to vote? Who do I want to vote for? How do you balance that? How do you address that with listeners like her that were solidly in your camp?
Yeah. Well, obviously you start with this. It is kind of surprising when you have somebody parachute in a Hollywood style, production, commercials or whatever, and they start talking about all these things, who they are and what they do. But quite frankly, he entered the race with two absolute falses. One is that he's a Trump endorsed guy, which he's not. I am, and also is that he's some sort of outsider. And if you can go down to the Capitol, and anybody who's been around politics will tell you exactly who Rick Jackson is, because he's been a heavy donor for the last 2 decades. That's the reason why he's been able to garner so many, state contracts through his time. So when you have somebody enter the race and they're opening the lines as there are falsehoods, you better get on alert pretty quick. But we're going to deal with that. Look, I've been dealing with all these guys who've been coming after me ever since 5 years ago when I started running for lieutenant governor. I've had the Republican establishment attack me. I've had the Democratic establishment attack me. Fonnie Willis tried to indict me for me standing up for elections back in after the 2020 election cycle. So you ought to wonder when you've had groups like Rick Jackson, Carr, and Rathesberger who have all come after you and spent close to $100 million again to try to defeat you, then who is it that's really standing up for the people of Georgia is the question you need to ask. And it's always, I've got that track record of doing just that. And I hope that once the newness wears off of the ad blast that has gone on for the last couple of weeks, people actually start looking at who these people actually are.
Lieutenant Governor Ben Burnett here. I got to ask you, and I feel like I know you well enough, and I can. But for football season around Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, and you don't know who it is, how does it feel to just be some nameless, faceless PAC's bitch?
Well, I think it's obvious now. The Jackson camp won't admit to it, but I mean, there's been $20 million in negative ad spend against me. That's obviously coming from that camp, but obviously they won't admit to it because basically it's a dishonest campaign, like what I was just referencing from the start. You can come down here, Ben. You know where I live. There is no property that we have that exists that has been sold to a data center. There is no data center on any real estate that we have, and they used to try to say it was a hospital. Well, when that didn't get any traction, they turned it to a data center. And, well, guess what? There's neither. I
remember that.
No hospital.
Bert, I remember that, the hospital thing. As soon as you said it, I hadn't thought about it in forever, but I remember that being the thing. It was hospital. And now, because data centers seem like to be the go-to thing, the hot button issue, they're like, okay, hospital work, let's switch to this.
Yeah. I mean,
all right. On the other hand of that, and I don't want to stop you, but we've got to get to something here. I know that you have played a lot on the defensive side of the ball, and I feel like they have talked about your family, and I feel like they have talked about you, and I don't candidly understand all of what goes in, but on some point, being defensive minded, have you thought about the late hit out of bounds yet? And when you do it, are you just getting your money's worth?
I'm very patient, Ben, and but it is getting the time is coming that I am about to swipe back, but I'm not going to swipe back with lies like they've been telling on me. I'm actually just going to point out the truth. I'm going to point out that the Jackson has been an insider for the last 2 decades. He's given tens of millions of dollars to politicians, and he's gotten over $1 billion worth of state contracts in return. So I'm also going to point out that, he has a connection with all these groups like Planned Parenthood, and also he's the one that has totally upended the cost of health care here in this state because of the number one, because of the state contracts he was given, and because of the temp agency, the service that he provides. He goes in and he basically has taken all the nurses out of the healthcare system and turned around and turned them in and leased them back to hospital facilities at double the cost. So he single-handedly, after COVID, has increased our price of health care. So when we get ready to go down the road and people start asking who's the most electable person come November, I don't believe it's going to be the billionaire healthcare executive that also has doubled your cost as far as the citizens are concerned.
Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones joining us on the Morning Extra, running for governor in the state of Georgia. Yeah, I've seen a lot of swipes, but I've not seen a lot of talk about the things that you have discussed, and that is eliminating the sales tax, the state tax, eliminating taxes, which is an immediate gold star for me. Ben and I talk about it all the time, man. I despise paying taxes because I don't know where it's going. I never feel like I know where my tax dollars are going and that they're being used effectively, and I see around the country that they're not. And that's something that you've been a champion of.
Yeah, well, look, I'm a business guy, number one, all right? I own my own business. We have over 2,000 employees here at our company. So that I am a business guy first, and that's how I've always come at the political arena. I was like, I want to work on kitchen table issues. I want to work on things that actually matter. That's lowering your income tax, doing something about our property taxes, doing something about access to health care, providing educational opportunities, and being all about public safety. I've got a track record of doing that, and all these guys that are running against me are running on things that I've already done, and things that I'm doing currently. I was the first one to start talking about getting rid of the state income tax, and now everybody and their brother is running on that. I was the one that everybody's talking about school choice. I got it passed. Everybody's talking about getting boys out of girls' sports. Well, I already did that too, And then they're also talking about, well, we need to get rid of regulations. I've been getting regulations ever since I got elected to lieutenant governor. So, all these things that are people are talking about they're going to do if they get elected. Well, most of them I've already done them, and since I've been lieutenant governor, and want to continue to improve on how the state is run, and I want to continue to make it more like a business. And as far as watching what we spend, number one, but also looking how we can put money back in the pockets of hardworking Georgians.
What do you think is the let's get to some of your priorities in the legislative session that maybe don't meet the eyeballs, that are things that you're super proud of? What would you throw in that list that people need to go look at and advocate to their local folks about?
Yeah, look, I'm proud of the fact that we've been cutting costs as far as the tax costs on average everyday Georgians. We've been doing that ever since I was there. But I've been proud of the school choice measure, putting parents more in charge of their kids' education. I think that has been very successful of us, and that's something we've been trying to get done as Republicans for 20 plus years. I believe in public education. education. And my mother was a 20-year public teacher, but I also know that not every school system is the perfect fit for every child. So I was glad we got that done. I've been proud of the workforce development efforts that we've done through our college and career academies and in our local high schools, teaching skill sets to our young people, because not everybody is going to be college bound, and they need to have some sort of skill set, and also maybe have a passion for, being a electrician or plumber or carpenter or, some sort of a film in the film industry, whatever it might be, just a tool in their toolbox that can help them get a job right out of high school. We really focus on that in my 3 years that you don't hear much about, but we've had a lot of kids right out of high school that have been able to get jobs and well-paying jobs because they went through basically what we used to call the college and career academy is a fancy word for old shop class, but it still is invaluable to a lot of these kids.
Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. It's Tug along with Ben Burnett. I said this last week, Lieutenant Governor, that Georgia needs to be more like Florida. And it breaks my heart to say that because I feel like that DeSantis has taken a blue state and turned it blood red, and the current administration, for whatever the reason, there's a lot of people I think you could say is the issue. Georgia was a red state that has been turned kind of purplish now. How do we become more like Florida as far as the politics? How do we make Georgia blood red? Because that's what I think it needs to be.
Well, I mean, there's a few things you could do. Ron DeSantis has done a good job, but you have a political class in this state, and I was talking about them earlier, and they don't care if it's Republican or Democrat, and that's the ones who have been kind of shooting at me. The political class in this state that is just concerned with power, and they're concerned with keeping power, and so you've got to. You've got to flush that political class out. I go back to that's the reason why, they spent $100 million against me, and that's the reason why the Democrats have attacked me because you've got to get a regime change in a lot of these agencies and things of that nature. Look, I've had a great working relationship with Governor Kemp, and he and I have done a lot of great things together. But there's a business class in this state that, like I said, that is not necessarily Republican or Democrat. They're just all about power and trying to make sure that they get the right people in some of these jobs, and so I think you got to have somebody who has a strong backbone, can't be bought off, and also has the ability to just get things done that are common sense, conservative values.
If you're elected governor, can you do that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've been doing it. Like I said, they wouldn't be continuing to fight me if they didn't feel like I was a threat to them.
Tug wants to run your DEI office, and he'll immediately get rid of it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, he knows me well. That Ben Burnett.
He'll put himself out of work the first week he's in office.
No kidding, buddy. You wouldn't have to worry about that. I would be shutting down turning out the lights. There's plenty of agencies that I would do that to.
They'd give you the week off here to go do that.
hey, you could go work for Jackson Healthcare. They got a DEI. They got a DEI.
No, sir. No, thank you. I'll just stay here.
I think I could have a role for you two guys. I put Ben in charge of entertainment and fluff.
See, that's right, entertainment and fluff. I love it.
No, just advocate for me to get a board seat at the Metro Atlanta Chamber. I'll do a good job.
Oh, now that actually might not be a bad idea.
Hey, let me tell you,
I like that.
Ben knows business, man. That's one thing I am certain of. There's a few things I'm certain of. I won't bring them all up here, but Ben knows business without a doubt, and he's always impressed me about that. But that's something that you would have to be focused on, making sure that businesses have an environment to be successful in the state of Georgia as governor. Georgia's been successful. How do you make it even more successful?
Yeah, I mean, Georgia's had a good run. We've had a 20-year good run, and it's been because we've had good leadership, but we've had also a very good business environment here. You know, the cost of doing business is a lot. Look, if you look around the country, look at the states that are growing right now. The states that are growing in population and economic opportunities are states like Georgia, Florida, Texas, Tennessee, South Carolina, and North Carolina. And the states who are losing population are states like New York, California, Illinois. And what's the difference between those states? You got those are all the states who are growing are Republican-run states. The states who are losing population are the ones who have been taken over by this crazy Democratic initiative going on at the national level. We can't let that happen here at in Georgia. And so how you continue to have great success is you just continue to sharpen your craft. You know, iron sharpens iron. So you always got to be looking at ways to do things more efficient, more cost efficient, and then that is lowering people's tax burden, lowering the regulatory burden, giving educational opportunities, as well as providing a good workforce and a good skilled workforce to organically fill a lot of the job opportunities we have. Look, we're at 2% unemployment right now here in the state of Georgia, you know, and so that's pretty darn good, but there are so many job openings right now in the state. I can't talk to a business that doesn't tell me, look, I wish I had 10 more folks. I wish I had 20 more people to do such and such job. Doesn't matter what the line of work is. So there's plenty of opportunities here in the state. The best thing we could do is just try to spread it out, you know, where it's not all concentrated in Metro Atlanta. Because if there's one issue that probably we can all point to and agree on is a congestion problem that we have in Metro area, and so we need to do a better job and helping spread that out, those economic opportunities out, and, you know, improve the road system that we have currently.
I want to ask you, I think the state of Georgia looks a lot like it does over the last 4 years because of the brave leadership and the ability to tackle hard issues that you've seen in the Senate, that you brought the House along kicking and screaming on, that have wound up being well. Talk about that, and then talk about the last couple months of your life when you didn't know who it was and what it meant to you to have President Trump stand up in Rome last week and be like, there is no waffling with me. This is my guy.
Mm-hmm. Well, number one, as far as President Trump is concerned, I was never worried about it because I've known the president a long time, and he's become a dear friend. In fact, I just talked to him yesterday on the phone, so I have open dialogue with him on a regular basis. I'm very fortunate to have that. But it was that liberal media bunch. It was our friends over there at the AJC that were trying to. And the clowns that Rick Jackson has working for him too over there, those political fleecers. I call them the shakedown artists over there that he has working for him. They were the ones trying to spin it to make it sound like the president might do something different than endorse us. So I was never worried about that, Ben. But I was glad that he reiterated it at the Rome rally. What we've done in my 4 years as lieutenant governor, yeah, I mean, look, nobody thought we would lower the state income tax 4 years in a row. We've done that. Nobody thought we could get school choice done, giving parents more options. We did that. Nobody thought we could pass religious liberty, believe it or not. And, you know, we got that done. That's a 10-year effort that the religious organizations had wanted. Nobody thought we could reform CON, which is a bureaucratic agency that stifles competition in the healthcare arena, and we reformed that. And nobody had touched that in 50 years, and so those things that, and also a lot of other regulatory things that we'd gotten rid of in my time. Oh, and on the foster care front, I set up a children's and family committee that would focus nothing but foster care and DFACS and trying to improve our DFACS system, as well as give foster kids better opportunities as far as in education and workforce opportunities. So as a cycle out of the system. So there's a lot of things that we've led on in the Senate, and I would be bold enough to say that the Senate really has been in the driver's seat as far as driving the agendas in the legislature the last 4 years, and it's because of leadership that I put forward and what I thought needed to get done, and things that we'd all talked about as common sense Republicans for decades.
There you go. We won't hold you any longer, Lieutenant Governor Jones. We wish you the best of luck. And I love the fact that you brought up foster and adoption, man. As a believer, I think it's so important, and I think it's really challenging for really good people to make a difference in that world. So I'm glad you're working on it. And that right there in and of itself, if I take anything away from that discussion, that one sticks with me. But and I love the fact that you're going to have to bring the Democrats, and so is Donald Trump, to be honest with you. President Trump's going to have to do the same thing. Bring those Democrats across the finish line, kicking and screaming. They're going to get a gold medal even though they don't know it. They're going to succeed in spite of themselves, and I hope you're able to do that here in the state of Georgia too.
Let me leave with this, because the Democrats keep talking about affordability. That's the tagline that they use all across the country. We've had multiple measures this past time in the legislature that represented tax cuts, both for individuals and businesses, and represented on both property and income tax, and they voted against every one of those measures. So I don't know how you can talk about that we're going to be the party of the working class when you vote against everything that would put money back into the working class pockets. So.
Yeah, they're definitely not the party of the working class. They left the working class behind a long time ago, even though they tried to keep that part of the voter base, and nobody believes that. Nobody is buying that. Thank you so much. We appreciate you taking a moment.
You always make time for us, and I promise you, not everybody stops through. I
appreciate both of you guys, and I'm just glad Ben's acting like he's employed this morning, and we appreciate. That's right. He's got a good wife at home. I know that much. I tell you what.
Right. In spite of himself, he's got a good wife at home. That's great.
Real big thanks. Hey, I'm behind those attack ads.
It's been Ben the whole time.
I figured that.
Dude, I'm telling you, you got a mole in there, and it's Ben Burnett. Who knew?
If I was behind it, I'd be in Mauritius.
On vacation. Lieutenant Governor, thank you so much, man. God bless you. Have a good day.
All right, appreciate it. Take care.
This is the Morning Xtra, Xtra 106.3. When we come back, the left is full of low T dudes. Probably not a surprise to you if you've seen a few of them. Next on Xtra 106.3.
Xtra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Monday, March 2nd. The Atlanta Hawks are now back to 500 as they beat the Portland Trailblazers last night in blowout fashion, 135-101 at State Farm Arena. The Hawks are now 31-31 with 20 games in the regular season to play and hold the 9th spot in the Eastern Conference playoffs. They are off until Wednesday night. From the NFL over the weekend, as the NFL Scouting Combine was concluding, the Falcons fired assistant coach LaTroy Lewis after allegations of a sexual assault surfaced against him. Ann Arbor police confirmed they are investigating the matter, which reportedly occurred in late 2024. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina. Hi, it's Los, here with Tom Mitchell, the honest car guy. Tom, you are changing the way people are buying their next pre-owned car or truck. How are you doing it?
You know, Los, we found a better way for customers to buy a car. An honest way, a very transparent way. You pay what we pay plus our honest fee.
How do you prove that?
We even prove it to you by giving you a copy of the bill of sale at the end of the deal.
How much can people save when they buy their next vehicle with the honest car guy?
I've saved people upwards of $20,000 and $30,000. I mean, it really depends on the year, the make, the model of the car, and the price of the car. You know, on a $15,000 car, I can't save you $20,000. We can probably save you $2,000 or $3,000. But it's through the course of the whole sale. The big one here that people don't realize, the financing. You go into the dealership, they tell you your rate's 9%. Well, really, it's probably 7% because they're allowed to make 2 points on there. The honest car guy, you'll save an average of $5,000 to $10,000 depending on the price of the car.
Folks, if you want to save thousands on your next pre-owned car or truck, try the honest car guy. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1, or honestcarguy.com.
Join Daniel Matt
Matalon, CEO of A Second Chance Bail Bonds, and co-host Tug Cowart as they bring together law enforcement, justice insiders, and voices from every part of the justice system, victims, advocates, and people who've turned their lives around. It's not PR, it's not fluff. It's an honest talk about what's working, what's broken, and how to build a better path forward, one second chance at a time. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. or listen to the podcast anywhere. Justice Unfiltered. Unfiltered, informed, and unbiased.
So, you had a long day. You decided to stop for a cocktail on the way home. The next thing you know, you had one too many and you just got pulled over. You need A Second Chance bail bonds. A Second Chance can get you or a loved one out of jail quickly, in most cases, in a matter of hours. A Second Chance bail bonds. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us. Get help now. Call 404-BAIL-OUT. That's 404-BAIL-OUT or contact them online at atlbail.com.
Staples has hot deals and low prices on everything for your business, like up to $125 off on your print order. Ends 4/18. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Well, I appreciate you guys. I love what you do. I love your show. Love your listeners. And just remember, one team, one fight. This nation actually is special for a reason. If we lose it, there's no more hope in the world. I truly believe that.
The Morning Extra, 6 to 10 a.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Look, as you get a little bit older, your testosterone levels drop a little bit. But that means you had testosterone to begin with, so you have to battle with that a little bit. Maybe talk to your doctor and they give you some sort of injection. I don't know. I don't know what it is. But what happens, Los, when you never had testosterone? That's when things are really tricky.
All right, so this can be done without, it's not a significant test to test your testosterone. In fact, many of the male clinics, even here in the Atlanta area, they will do it in hopes of, if you turn out you're low T, then they'll start you on a treatment plan.
That's right. I got some sort of injection or something.
That's how the money's made. That's how the bread is buttered. So if you just want to have an idea, in most men, the numbers, basically the baseline number is 300. And most people are going to fall somewhere between 300 and 1,000.
Okay.
What I would say is if Navy Tug Cowart was probably in the good 700s. All right, normal American healthy male, 450 to 650, 450 to 800, somewhere in that range.
Okay.
I mean, I guess if you're like a barbarian, you're at 1,000.
Maybe 1,200.
Because you can flip cars over in a rage. You
probably got extra. That's how you
probably got a little bit extra.
That's how you can actually pick up a car.
But I thought this was a very funny point that was circulating around over the weekend and explained so much about the near lesbian men that were complaining about striking Iran. Where the hair is a little bit funny and you're not really sure, and they got the man bun, and it's not like they're put together. All right, you're like, I think the term is frumpy.
Yeah.
So it's like you're kind of ladylike and you're also kind of frumpy.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like. Well, so this was a story that started circulating again.
It's a terrible combination.
It is. Well, it's, the question that if you were to hold up a picture of some of these men, you could ask the question, like we could do it to Bryce and say, Bryce, can you identify this person? Is it a young man or an old lesbian? And it's 50-50.
Coin toss.
You're not really sure. Well, so this was part of what happened at NPR. NPR was doing a thing about this about 2 years ago. And they, because, this is the way they talk.
All the time.
And this is how it sounds. And they sound very ladylike. Well, they had their testosterone tested out of curiosity. The first guys came back at 260 or 274.
Okay, well, you said 300 was on the low end.
That's the baseline, like, okay, you're under.
And you said the first dude out of the gate is 274.
The next one was 144.
Oh, my God. It's got to get worse.
Now, this is just science, right? We trust it.
Science.
If you happen to be low on testosterone, you know what you tend to be a little bit like? Really dainty ladylike, kind of frumpy, man bun with the pudge. Okay, like all of those things where when I'm sitting, and I talked about this to open the show, when I'm sitting poolside with a bunch of dudes and
actual dudes,
we're at a volleyball tournament and their lives center around, they compete, their daughters compete. This is a mindset. We don't understand your low testosterone way of thinking.
Yeah, it's hard to.
because like one of the guys that I was talking to, he is now the VP of sales within this one company, and it moved him from the Midwest to Atlanta. And he was talking about some of the work that they're doing, some of the stuff they're trying to get done, and some of the vendors they're working with. And all of this was from a place of authority.
Yeah.
And it totally made sense to me why, when him and I were discussing what was going on with Iran, it was with all right, let's wait and see, but this is why you do this stuff. And this is why you assert power when you need to. And this is what strong men do.
Dude at 144.
Dude at 144.
Can't figure it all out. He's like, what is going on? Why are we doing this?
He's like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
And when you listen to them, why do they sound so ladylike? It's because at 144, your body is lacking perhaps one of the biggest factors that makes you a man. Testosterone.
Buddy, that's a tough spot to be. I wonder if they realize it. Do they recognize the fact?
Does the mirror go up?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Do they call the doctor we were talking about a little bit earlier and like, Doc, look, here's the thing. I've been on NPR for 5 years, and I've noticed that I sound an awful lot like them. Then we did tests, and we're all low T. Can you help? Low T.
Now, when you see that man, as I show you a picture of Ira Glass, you can look it up on your own, Ira Glass.
Low T.
Not saying that this man isn't like put together, presentable, but is that a guy who can work on your car or change a tire? No, he's calling. He's calling his older brother for help.
He's never got his hands dirty.
Can you help me?
Yeah, and every one time this Ira Glass got his hands dirty. Ever it wouldn't.
So just a little reminder that when you're hearing some of this stuff today around the office, you're going to go, that dude, I think, is lacking testosterone.
Yeah, right. That's why.
And you're probably right.
That's why he got his ass kicked at school every day. Morning Xtra at Extra 106.3 when we come back. The incredible operation that took out one evil man. Next on Extra.
Start your day with Tug and Los on the Morning Extra from 6 to 10. Then it's Glenn Beck, Clay and Buck at noon, and the Kimmer Show on your ride home from 3 to 6. And hang out every night for Jesse Kelly at 6 and Jimmy Fela at 9. And stream it all live in crystal clear HD on the Extra 106.3 app.
Oh no, what is that sound?
It's our rejection detection system. It's showing that several men across Georgia are being denied intimacy by their partners due to ED.
How can this be?
Well, it's more common than you think. As men age, their bodies change. And unfortunately, once they get over 50, some things don't work like they used to.
So what do we do?
There's only one thing to do. We need to get them to Dr. Eric Deal at Total Body Therapy of Georgia. He can fix ED problems.
But how?
At Total Body Therapy of Georgia, they are experts in the P-shot, testosterone replacement, regenerative therapy, and Trimex to create an erection and more.
Hi, this is Dr. Eric Deal from Total Body Therapy of Georgia. Did you know that 50% of men over 50 struggle with some form of ED? Guys, it won't get better on its own. When it's not hard, it's really hard. But I can help you today. Call us at Total Body Therapy of Georgia at 404-777-1911 or learn more about us online at tbtofga.com.
Hey Atlanta, it's Mark from Atlanta Safe House. It's 2026 and it's going to be a great year. So let's start the year off with a quiz. So what's the difference in a criminal and a socialist Democrat? Well, a criminal wants to steal your stuff, but a socialist Democrat wants to steal your freedom. So let's talk about safes. The Atlanta Safe House has the largest selection of safes in the Southeast. Brands like Browning, Champion, and Fort Knox. With over 500 safes in stock, we are the place to buy a safe. So come by the showroom or go to atlantasafehouse.com.
They hear this every year. I'll deal with those windows later and then turn into another Georgia summer before it's too late. Hey, do something special to take care of those windows. My buddy Jeff at Peach State Windows says now the smart time to act right now. Jeff's family-owned company serving Georgia homeowners for more than 50 years. I've known Jeff and his wife for more than 25 years, and these folks are pros. Family businesses, too. They build windows that stand up to Georgia heat, cold snaps, and everything in between. And yes, still one of the best deals you'll hear. 8 premium double-hung Energy Star replacement windows fully installed for just $39.95. That's 8 windows, top of the line, for under $4,000 installed. How about this? How about 0% financing for 12 months? There's no reason now to keep putting it off. Go to peachstatewindows.com. Here's that number, 770-485-8011. Make the uglies go away. 8 Energy Star replacement windows under $4,000. peachstatewindows.com.
The NFL shows on a daily basis that it absolutely cares not a whit about the players or the fans or anything besides making the billionaires more money. Yeah. That's all they care about, and that's their job.
The Kimmer Show every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app. The Morning Xtra, starting your day the right way. Weekdays from 6 to 10 a.m.
And every one of those Democrats are going to get dragged across the finish line and given a gold medal for being in America. Because it feels like when you're an American, it feels like you get a gold medal every day being able to live in this great nation. You have been blessed by the God that created the universe.
Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station is Extra 106.3. The Morning Xtra, Glenn Beck, Clay and Buck, and The Kimmer Show on WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. Extra 106.3.
This is a Fox News alert. 3 American fighter jets mistakenly shot down. I'm Dave Anthony. They were taken down by Kuwait's air defenses, but the crews all safely ejected as Iran launches missiles at U.S. bases in the region, retaliating to the American and Israeli attacks.
Since the war began over the weekend, 3 members of the U.S. military have been killed in action and 5 severely wounded.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson in Istanbul, Turkey.
The Pentagon says over 1,000 targets have been struck across Iran in the first 24 hours of Operation Epic Fury. And there are reports Iranian and Iranian-backed militias fired missiles at the U.S. Embassy in Kuwait. And in Saudi Arabia today, Iran struck Saudi Aramco, the world's largest oil company.
And the oil prices are surging up 7%. Stock futures are falling on Wall Street, and travelers are getting stranded in the Middle East. Airlines have canceled more than 2,000 flights, more than half to and from Dubai and Abu Dhabi. As the conflict widens,
the Lebanese militant group Hezbollah, Iran's largest proxy, launching rockets over the border at the northern Israeli city of Haifa, sending people into bomb shelters.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv also reports Israel fired back, killing at least 30 Hezbollah militants. Iranian attacks in Israel have killed at least 9 people. President Trump says this operation targeting Iran could last 4 weeks.
Revolutionary Guard facilities, Iranian air defense systems. Just now was announced that we knocked out 9 ships plus their naval building.
In that Truth Social video, the president also offered prayers to the Americans wounded and condolences to the families of the 3 killed. He's also urging Iranians to take control of their government. The supreme leader and dozens of senior officials among the 500-plus deaths in Iran. Exiled Iranian Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi just thanked the president.
Millions of Iranians and the diaspora around the world have celebrated the death of the top henchman or monster of this regime, Ali Khamenei.
And the prince just told Fox he wants to return to Iran. America's listening to Fox News.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Grow your business organically with Atlanta's fastest growing news and talk station, Extra 106.3. Get started today by emailing sales@xtra1063.com.
Morning, y'all. Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 106.3. A big Monday with so much happening around the world. And how does it affect you? What does it do to you as you listen, as you get ready for work, as you head into work, as you're dropping kids off in carpool line? We're here to discuss all those things, and glad that you're here. 404-741-1230 at Extra 1063 across the social media platforms. Just might as well just get straight to the first thing to know this morning.
They want you awake, informed, and ready to fight for the facts of the day in the land of the free. Now your sleepyhead nation needs your wake-up call. A mighty dose of reality coming in strong. Soon as the sun cracks the horizon so high. Man, we got the story, no time for a lie.
What did Trump do?
Put a boot in your ass, courtesy of
That's right. That's what he did to Iran.
I did enjoy that when you follow the timeline as you had articulated so well, Tug. By the time that you got back to Donald Trump, listen, the Iranians aren't really working with us. It's like we're trying to negotiate what's going to happen. When Marco Rubio comes back to the president and says, these jokers aren't really trying to get anything done.
Dude, they're stalling.
It's like, well, you know what's happening.
That's right. Here, yeah. I actually reached out to an old Navy friend of mine, and I hadn't seen him in probably 20 years. But he used to, he was probably about 2 ranks ahead of me. I was in E4. He was in E6. And great guy. And his answer to everything were tomahawks to follow. It didn't matter what we were talking about.
Doesn't matter.
It was always tomahawks to follow. And he was an air controller and, just a guy that was always dialed into everything that was happening. And he was a great, he was just a great guy to have as a role model as a young sailor. And I shot him a note over the weekend that said, dude, today you have taken center stage, tomahawks to follow, and seeing those Navy vessels firing in tomahawks and knowing that their training is better than anybody else on planet Earth. I was really proud of the United States Navy and the way that they performed and the military in general. I said this last hour, I'll say it again, and kind of leads us into the Iran conversation, is that Donald Trump, for all of his flaws as a human being, right, and we all have them, dude, he is batting 1,000 with foreign policy, an absolute 1,000. Venezuela, Cuba's about to fall on its own. Now Iran killing one of the most evil men, Ayatollah Khomeini, killing one of the most evil men in the world, a man that just killed 30 or 40,000 of his own people last month. This is a person that needed to be taken out, and it will make America safer.
If this wasn't a radio show, and yes, we are on YouTube, but still, we lack some capabilities when it comes to showing you all the stuff we'd like to show you. I'm not talking about the artificial protests when they hand out signs. It's like, stand with Iran.
Well, that were out there 10 minutes before the first bomb dropped?
The ones I'm talking about is when you see Iranian people, Iranian Americans, that show up to a protest that's not a protest. It's a celebration, and they're waving American, Iranian, and Israeli flags and then doing Trump dances.
Dude, isn't it crazy, though, the difference in the anti-ICE, anti-American protest?
Anti-whatever they decide to apply it to.
Whatever the hat
is. They're the anti-American party.
And they're out there waving every flag but the American flag. And then when you see people who have lived under real oppression saying, no, this is the flag, that are separating us from this evil dictator that we've lived under for years and years and
years. Now, I reserve the right to say, let's see what happens.
Oh, sure. You have to, of course.
Because when you're trying to execute regime change, and that's what's going on here, they're trying to open up the doorway for the Iranian people to take their country back from the mullahs. You don't know what direction it's going to go. You would, considering that we installed the Shah, and we thought, all right, here's what's going to happen, and Iran's going to be a friend for forever. And then they weren't.
Yeah.
And they've been an enemy for the better part of 50 years. These are the people that have built their entire society largely on the destruction of Israel and the United States. Checkmate for now.
Sure.
For now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Right now. It absolutely is. no one can argue the fact that taking out Khomeini is a bad thing. Nobody.
No.
You cannot argue that.
If we're big into just getting rid of evil people in this world, that's what you did.
J.K. Rowling, she's not even a conservative. And I love the fact that when she writes things, I'm like, smart lady here. If you claim to support human rights, yet can't bring yourself to show solidarity with those who fight for their liberty in Iran, you've revealed yourself. You don't give a damn about the people being oppressed and brutalized so long as it's being done by enemies of your enemies. So absolutely dead on.
It's dead on. The comedy for me is when you will see those women who will dress up in the Handmaid's Tale outfits while they, as you like, throw your pen, as they then end up protesting American actions against somebody who actually makes women dressed up in Handmaid's Tale outfits.
And you would see those exact women when the word that Khomeini had been killed were dancing in the street and taking their head scarves off.
Yes.
Taking I guess it's called the hijab, taking that off in direct opposition of what they were allowed to do 5 minutes before that.
Go look at 1970. You can find this anywhere. Google 1970s images of what Iran looked like and what their society looked like. It looked like the start of a Western paradise.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely did.
And here came the mullahs, and here came the crazy Islamists, and this is what occurred for the better part of 50 years. If those people can now, because apparently they're getting the support that Obama never gave them during the Arab Spring, if they can now take back their government, then that is regime change without us having to put a boot on the ground. We are capable of doing this.
And which is what we're going to avoid. There's not going to be boots on the ground. I don't expect this will probably be, I think I said week 4 last or early last week, when this happens, it'll be about 3 weeks. Donald Trump has said 3 to 4 weeks, right around the ballpark. We knew it wasn't going to be Operation Midnight Hammer. There was too much firepower that was gathered, the most since 2003 in the Gulf War. There was no way that this was going to be just an overnight thing, because you don't amass that kind of firepower without doing something, without having a sustained plan. Now, they want it to be done quick. Absolutely. You want to get it done. You want to get this complete and get out. And that's, I think, everybody's in favor of.
And this still sticks to, this is a president who is not interested in forever wars. Now, because of their success in these operations, like, for instance, with everything that played out in Venezuela, when you started to get the intel that basically our U.S. military not only ran circles around the Russians and the Chinese and then the Cuban guards and everyone else, from the sound weapons that we were using to the tactics that we used, it basically let everybody know who's the top dog. Top dog enough to where by the time you even had a response, our people were already back on their carriers and moving on from the region. That's how good the U.S. military is. And by the way, as I pointed out over the weekend, when you don't focus on quotas or DEI or any of the other joker stuff that was going on during the last regime, they are professional and they're the best in the world at blowing us up.
Can I take you back to January of 2016 when it wasn't that way? That was when Barack Obama was president, and the Iranian IRGC seized a U.S. Navy boat. And they had those sailors on their knees, hands behind their back, making an embarrassment of the United States Navy. And then 5 days later, on the 17th, Barack Obama sent a pallet of $400 million to Iran, followed by another $1.3 billion through additional transactions.
Well, that got them to stop all their aggression.
Yeah.
Of course.
Send them pallets. And you know what it did? Also fund everything that has happened up until that point.
So I put out another truth that I think people, they have a hard time with it, but I believe it to be firmly the truth. Based on his education, based on his background, based on the way that he treated people. Do you know when Bibi Netanyahu came to the White House, you know the way that he met with Barack Obama? Do you know the way he sent him out?
Back door.
Which is like the great insult.
Well, yeah.
It's letting you know what I think of you. For everyone who points out, well, Barack Obama had a deal so the Iranians wouldn't have a nuclear program. No, he had a deal to make sure they had a nuke. to offset the power in Israel being a nuclear nation. In fact, had Iran decided to use a nuclear weapon against Israel, I'm not sure that the Obamas would have been that upset about it. Now, that's speculation. But he engineered a scenario by which the Iranians would get a nuclear weapon. And what's their primary use of their nuclear weapon? Take out Israel.
Ahmadinejad used to say that, right?
Yes.
He would say when he was the president, and I think he said it in front of the UN, my goal is to wipe Israel off the face of the map. Off the map, off the face of the earth. That's the guy you're going to send pounds of cash to?
And that you're going to help support their nuclear program, which, as soon as Biden got back into office, was trying to get all that cranked right back up again because that was Barack Obama's plan.
And Obama was running it because Biden, a little Freudian slip.
You're not off.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's hard for people who don't know this history and did not follow this stuff to understand that this is contrarian to what has gone on for the better part of a decade. That this is actually addressing a problem with a huge amount of power to show them
overwhelming power.
You are not in control here. Like, we treated you as a I would say this: you're an adversary, you can cause problems, we're going to respect that. And then it turned into, all right, this isn't going anywhere, you're going to feel it.
We're going to fix your little red wagon.
That's right.
I love what Frank Luntz said. Over the past 36 hours, Iran has attacked more Arab and Muslim nations and countries than Israel in its entire history of existence.
I saved that too.
Yeah. Iranian regime, and this is...
name them. I mean, he's got them listed, everyone that they've attacked. Since, by the way, since June of 2025, when you had the Israelis that took out the 30 generals with
pagers.
No. This was when they were hitting the hotels and different places they were staying.
Yeah.
So they go through that operation. Iran responds by shooting all over the Middle East to anyone that they thought might have anything to do with this stuff. And that is what created this coalition against them. And so just name the place that they've shot at just now, or in the last 48 to 72 hours.
Since yesterday, yeah. Israel, obviously, you knew that was coming. But these are the ones you might not have suspected. Jordan, Kuwait, Oman, Bahrain, Qatar, UAE, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Cyprus. There's military installations on Cyprus, which is mainly British, but that's as far away. I mean, Cyprus is way in the Mediterranean. This is a good little distance, and then Syria on top of that. You know who hasn't done that? Israel. You know who hasn't done that? The United States. You wonder why those countries are rallying around? That's the answer right there.
Why they're on board.
I knew it when I woke up Saturday morning, because the operations, obviously, they're, I think, Iran is 9 hours ahead. I think Israel right now is 7 hours ahead. That'll change, obviously, with daylight saving coming up. But I woke up early Saturday morning, and the first thing I sent a text to was Los. Because I woke up, grabbed my phone, started looking. I was like, oh, well, good Saturday morning. I had no idea this was coming.
I was up
kind of did, but
I was up at like 5:30 in the morning. We had to be downstairs pretty early for AM Wave for volleyball, and so I'm reading through all this stuff. But as soon as I'm in the convention center now, it's pretty spotty when it comes to any information, right?
Concrete building.
So to get a text message out of nowhere from Tug that just says, even the Saudis are saying, don't you shoot. Game on. Don't you shoot at us.
Dude, absolutely right. And the Saudis, they made a huge proclamation. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia says, we are on the side. I never thought in a million years I'd read it or say it out loud. We're on the side of the United States and Israel. That's because of the Abraham Accords, obviously recognizing Israel as a nation and their right to exist, as if that needs to be stated, but it did.
Well, think about it. Again, June of 2025, and you're getting launched at by the Iranians in retaliation for an operation that Israel did. You didn't forget that.
Mm-mm.
In fact, that's been stuck in your craw for a while. In fact, I'm willing to bet that you've had this administration and probably Israel that has had to tell the rest of the Middle East, take it easy. They're trying to create a regional war. They're trying to create a regional war and a larger conflict, because if we stand together against them, there's nothing they can do.
I love the fact the United States Navy and our military, along with the Israelis, took out the entire Navy, nine ships.
9 ships.
But they've made the entire Navy, the Iranian Navy, completely useless. They talk about, we're going to shut down the Straits of Hormuz because that's where 20% of the world's oil comes through.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, because you don't have a Navy to do that. I don't know how you're going to. You're going to
requires power out on the open seas.
Which you do not have. And we have the USS Abraham Lincoln sitting there. We have destroyers, we have cruisers, we have subs, we have air power. Something that tells me you don't have the ability to shut down the Straits of Hormuz. So good luck doing that. I know what your strategy is. And it was like the other thing that I texted you about on Saturday was the Iranian foreign minister. He was like, no, everything's good. Everything's all right. You know, it's a legal war by the United States. We thought the negotiations were going so well. We had already had rumor that the Ayatollah Khomeini had already been killed. And he's up there like Baghdad Bob saying, no, it's all good. Everything's good. We're good.
Didn't they
Y'all
say
good?
he was scheduled to give a speech?
What's that?
Didn't they say he was scheduled to give a speech?
Yes, they did. But it was just, you could just see the wheels coming off the bus as the bus was driving down the road.
So what's best case scenario? Well, best case scenario is that you've lobbed off the head plus the replacement head.
That's right.
You're going to continue to do this until hopefully the Iranian people are able to take over their country and we're going through regime change. I think that's best case scenario, but I also think that that's probably not what's going to happen.
No, it never happens.
It never goes that way.
No, absolutely right.
So this turns into you're going to basically have to bomb them into submission to where they recognize that you're not in charge anymore.
I think they have a pretty good idea of that right now.
And I think they have a pretty solid idea how this is playing out.
The Ayatollah himself is dead. Iranian chief of staff is dead. The past chief of staff is dead. The IRGC commander-in-chief is dead. A whole bunch of mullahs and other top leaders, I guess you could call them. Command infrastructure gone. IRGC leadership is gone. They don't got a lot.
Just let them know. This is not a fair fight. We are 20 years, 25 years ahead of anything you have in the field.
And that has been proven 2 times now with Venezuela and now in Iran as well. When we come back, how much is this war going to cost? It's a great question, but it ain't going to be trillions. There's a new concept. Tell you about it next on Xtra 1063.
If Minnesota has shown us anything, it's that the left will side with rioters over America. The real immigration crisis is inside blue cities, whose years of soft on crime, open border policies are now colliding with public safety. Atlanta's conservative news and talk station won't be swayed by headwinds of left-wing media. We'll always give you the facts from the most trusted voices in the country. Xtra 1063 and the Xtra app.
The wait is over. The Atlanta Braves 2026 gate giveaways are here, and this season is loaded with must-have items. Fans can expect incredible giveaway series, including the legendary alumni collection, featuring some of your favorite Braves greats, and the crossover jersey collection, bringing Braves style to basketball, football, hockey, and soccer jerseys. And that's not all. The giveaways keep coming with some brand new favorites, like the Bobble Card series, part bobblehead, part baseball card, plus a Hawaiian shirt, a cowboy hat, and so much more. And you know we can't forget about the kids. Every Sunday home game features a Kids Gate giveaway with special items like sunglasses, just like the players wear, mini Michael Harris II and Drake Baldwin bobbleheads, and the crossover sports jerseys come in kids sizes too. Check out the full giveaway schedule and grab your tickets now at braves.com/promos. Atlanta Braves baseball. We are Braves country.
Ready to sell your home fast and for top dollar? Trust Design to Sell. Staging and interior design experts recognized as one of the top 10 staging companies in the nation. From stylish redesigns to full-service staging, Design to Sell creates spaces buyers fall in love with. Faster sales, better offers. That's the power of great design. Call 678-505-1433 or visit homedesign2sell.com and ask for the Fan Special.
You've worked hard to build your investments, but are they positioned the right way from a tax perspective? Because it's not just what you make,
it's what you keep. Hi, I'm David Nicholas, president of Nicholas Wealth Management. Many investors don't realize that their portfolios may be creating unnecessary tax exposure. Capital gains, required minimum distributions, inefficient account placement can quietly reduce your returns, especially as you approach retirement. At Nicholas Wealth Management, we help clients evaluate whether their investments are structured in a tax-efficient way, looking beyond performance to understand how taxes impact income today and your legacy tomorrow. Are your assets in the right accounts? Are there opportunities to reduce further tax liability? Is your strategy aligned with your long-term retirement goals? Call Nicholas Wealth Management today, 678-990-8500. Schedule a complimentary review. That's 678-990-8500 or visit nicholaswealth.com. Nicholas Wealth Management, helping you keep more of what you've worked so hard to build.
Nicholas Wealth Management is an independent financial services firm. This is for informational purposes only and is not specific investment advice.
Hi, it's Los, here with Tom Mitchell, the honest car guy. Tom, you are changing the way people are buying their next pre-owned car or truck. How are you doing it?
You know, Los, we found a better way for customers to buy a car. An honest way, a very transparent way. You pay what we pay plus our honest fee.
How do you prove that?
We even prove it to you by giving you a copy of the bill of sale at the end of the deal.
How much can people save when they buy their next vehicle with the honest car guy?
I've saved people upwards of $20,000 and $30,000. I mean, it really depends on the year, the make, the model of the car, and the price of the car. You know, on a $15,000 car, I can't save you $20,000. We can probably save you $2,000 or $3,000. But it's through the course of the whole sale. The big one here that people don't realize, the financing. You go into the dealership, they tell you your rate's 9%. Well, really, it's probably 7% because they're allowed to make 2 points on there. The honest car guy, you'll save an average of $5,000 to $10,000 depending on the price of the car.
Folks, if you want to save thousands on your next pre-owned car or truck, try the honest car guy. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1, or honestcarguy.com.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Monday, March 2nd, and here are your headlines. The father of Lincoln Riley has filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the University of Georgia school system and owners of a local Athens apartment complex, alleging the university school system failed to provide a safe environment in Athens and claimed the Argo apartment complex, where the convicted killer lived, did not adequately screen tenants. The suit seeks $1 million in damages and claims negligence in the events leading up to her killing. Brian Wright, former senior pastor of Johnson Ferry Baptist Church in Marietta and founder of Right from the Heart Ministries, is sheltering in place in Jerusalem with his wife Ann and others after the U.S. airstrikes in Iran over the weekend. Marietta-based pastor says their group is safe but has taken cover in a hotel bomb shelter amid missile alerts and airspace shutdowns while waiting for a safe opportunity to return home. And finally, Cobb County will honor 31 of its star students and teachers at its annual Student Teacher Achievement Recognition Banquet, recognizing the district's highest SAT scores and the educators they selected as having the greatest impact on their academic success. The event highlights top-performing seniors from high schools across the county and will occur March 3rd at 6 p.m. Today's weather is partly cloudy with a high of 71 and a low of 51. With your Extra 106.3 headlines, I'm Bryce Gobert.
Lord, oh Lord, there's plenty to talk about, and look, there's plenty to be nervous about, to be frank. I know that was the discussion that my wife and I had. As she was just like, I'm just nervous. I'm just on edge. I just feel uneasy about everything. Not because she didn't think it should happen. I mean, when you're taking out one of the most evil people on the face of the earth, that's obvious that it needs to happen. That's obvious that they deserve the hell that is awaiting them.
Did you, by the way, see Trump when he got off of Marine Force One and talked about how, like, yeah, they've been trying to get me. I got him first.
Yes.
I was like,
yeah,
it's pretty.
But he's not wrong.
It's pretty cowboy right there.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of cool.
And then he crushed out his Marlboro. Put it out on his tongue.
I got him first.
That's right, because there was the stories that had been widely reported that the Iranians were part of those Trump assassinations in some way, shape,
that there was some sort of funding or at least some plan to try and get after him. It has also been the discussion with the Ukrainians. So, you know, it's when you have a left in this country that doesn't look at him as a legitimate president, even though he's now won 3 elections.
Dude, or even a human being.
Right. What do you think the rest of the world looks at? They're just following the same, oh, well, we have to kill Hitler too.
Yeah. Yeah. Holy cow.
Turns out he ain't Hitler. Like, this is working out pretty now. Again, I reserve the right here to see where this thing goes. But as far as operationally and what you got rid of and who you got rid of, if you wanted to let the Iranians know who's in charge here, you did that over the weekend.
And they did it with incredible intel. Intel is so important. And having people on the ground, not soldiers, not brigades, not battalions, not boots on the ground that way, but special operators, CIA, especially recruiting on the ground spies to report back the moles inside the government. That was the most, I think, impressive thing so far is how they struck during the day, and the reason behind that is the intel told them they should.
The Iranians had made an adjustment based off of previous attacks. Their idea was, well, the Israelis only hit us at night. And when the Americans came through to bomb our nuclear facilities, it's at night. So if there's ever going to be a move on the leadership of this country, it's probably coming at night. It's better if we meet in the day. That's better for our air defense systems. It's better for our military. And it just didn't matter. Now,
seeing that was the first thing that stood out. I mean, it jumped off the page to me. I was like, hang on.
They attacked during the day?
The cover of night is the greatest camouflage. It's the reason you do it that way. When I was in the Navy and we were aboard USS John F. Kennedy, the aircraft carrier, and doing those night ops all the time. Yes, they flew during the day, but night ops, I mean, because it went on 24 hours a day. Those were the things you're like, okay, this is the real preparation. Because this is when things actually happen. And when you woke up, or at least I did on Saturday morning, to all the news, and I got up relatively early, probably 7:30 or 8, and I was like, holy cow, what was it? Why did we do it like this when we never do it like this? And then you get word that the CIA had incredible intel about a gathering of the Ayatollah and his inner circle because they thought the same thing.
Now, this is the issue that we run into where the left tries to paint everything as, well, it's just some sort of cowboy tactic. It's like, no, this had been planned for months if negotiations failed. And from what I understand, it was if negotiations fail and they get together in this way, they're done. That's how it's going to be. And sure enough, operationally, that's what occurred. Now, here is where we talk about the problem that you have within the media, the problem you have within the Democrat Party, and that you have on the never-Trumper end of this thing. The establishment is being shown out to be who they are. You ask the question oftentimes, why don't things get fixed in this country? Doesn't seem that difficult to fix it. I mean, you just need smart people to get in there and work on it. It's because there's money in keeping the problem available. There's fundraising in keeping the problem available. There's fraud in making sure the problem stays available and out there. Donald Trump is showing you, for instance, you can execute actions like this. Not put boots on the ground, not spend $1 trillion in a forever war, and the military-industrial complex doesn't get to benefit off of it.
The way I know that is the case, though, is the SAVE Act. Exactly what you're saying. There is so much value and political capital in not passing the SAVE Act, even though 85% of Americans, I can't think of another issue that 85% of Americans agree on. Nothing. I can't think of one other issue. But there's so much value in not passing the SAVE Act that they won't do it because of exactly what you're saying. How do I benefit from this? How does my party benefit from this? How do I financially benefit from this?
So I did listen to RFK Jr. over the weekend. He was a guest on Joe Rogan's podcast. I think they dropped it on like Thursday or Friday. And so I was listening to that on the way back from Orlando. And he was talking about how there's so many people within the administration, what makes the administration different between himself, Tulsi Gabbard. I mean, these are Democrats that are in the administration. And how these are people that are looking to solve problems. And one of the things they brought up was Trump RX. They were talking about that exchange and what it's done, and what they convinced the drug companies to do was, you're going to make more money off of this when we're not subsidizing medicine for the rest of the world. So what has occurred when you had Donald Trump bring it up during the State of the Union address, a $4,000 product now costs $600. And that's for IVF. Well, Now the prices have actually moved up around the rest of the world. And the drug companies have actually made more in terms of their stock prices because the revenue, because you're not soaking it up off of Americans, is actually going up. It's spread out across the rest of the world. That is a simple solution to a problem. But yet, as RFK Jr. puts it, most administrations would never touch it because it'd be messing with the power structure, the status quo, and the people that pay you.
It's heavy lifting.
Yes.
We don't want to do heavy lifting.
No, not at all.
Because what if it doesn't work? Or what if it doesn't work the exact way I said that it was going to work? Or maybe I've not studied it well enough. Or maybe I didn't care. Maybe it's that last one.
Maybe it was, that just sounds like a problem that's too complicated. Let's just let it be.
Because that's not going to be politically expedient. Not if it's complicated to explain.
Well, and that is why you've had so much waste, fraud, and abuse that has gone on. You know, I think about when we've talked to, for instance, any of the Republican representatives that we've had in the state, and we bring up the budget, and they will regularly tell us when it comes to Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, those expenditures are like, we can't touch it. But what they have never discussed is, look at the waste, fraud, and abuse that's in there. You can naturally drive down what America is responsible for. For instance, we talk about what's going on in Minneapolis. How you went from a program that was paying $1 million towards students with autism and autism needs to $400 million. Autism didn't grow that much, people.
No, it didn't.
It was they started claiming everyone had autism.
And how in the world can nobody notice or nobody care or nobody take the time to say, wait a minute, that doesn't look right?
It doesn't look right.
It's because they benefited from it too.
And so on the big picture, the big scale of this, Donald Trump is showing you what the establishment never wanted you to see, that this can be done without it being done in the traditional way of boots on the ground, everybody over there, and let's go regime change, and how long are we going to be here, and how much is it going to cost us? That is the forever wars that we don't want any part of. We are a tired society after fighting the global war on terrorism for 20 years. None of us, except at this point, Democrats and establishment Republicans, want anything to do with forever wars moving forward.
No question about it. But there's always the left. They'll always get it wrong. Enter Jane Fonda.
Oh, Hanoi Jane.
Hanoi Jane. I had to break this down for my wife yesterday. I was like, you realize how a slap in the face this is to the United States, to the men and women of our armed forces, to everybody participating in this. Because she with regularity searches out the enemies of America to put her arm around them. And once again, she's on the wrong side of history.
I truly believe that enough people in this country have learned the lesson of the Vietnam War, of the Iraq War, the war in Afghanistan, and the other unnecessary and illegal wars, that we can say loud and clear, the people of the United States are here to tell the Trump administration, you may wage this war in our names, but not with our consent. Trump is a sad, unhinged man. He is at war on many fronts. He is at war against democracy. He is at war against our constitutional rights, especially our First Amendment right, free speech and free assembly.
As you speak, plenty. As you speak freely.
Would you like to explain to me how that is working out?
Of course, it just makes no sense, and just the ignorance of it all. And then she says, he's in a war against democracy. Last time I checked, Iran had nothing to do with democracy, and people were thrown off buildings. People are beaten in the streets, and I don't know if she noticed that 30,000, 40,000 people last month were killed for that First Amendment that they don't have under the mullahs and the Ayatollah, who's now dead. They don't have that, and that's why those people were murdered. I didn't hear the left say a damn word about those people being murdered in the streets. These champions of human rights like Jane Fonda. Where were you a month ago? Jane? Were you busy? Were you shooting a movie? You didn't have social media? You didn't have time to get out there and make a statement? What was it? Where were you? And now all of a sudden she's got time? Get out of here.
You would love to ask her, explain. Because it's always nice to use talking points and platitudes.
And that's all she did.
Explain. You just, a war against democracy. Explain. Because I know that when it comes to, for instance, the SAVE Act, you have 85% approval across all parties that are interested in this. Are you telling me that requiring some sort of identification is somehow an attack on democracy? Which, by the way, and this was another point, you don't have a constitutional right to vote. How many times do I have to go over this?
Again, apparently.
Oh, my God. Like people that don't know civics. The amount of people like, well, what about this amendment?
That's intentional, man. That's intentional at the level that of the educational class.
There's always I have the right to vote. You don't have a constitutional right to vote. In fact, and here's the difference. Here's what I'm pointing out. When it comes to the amendments that apply to voting, whether it's to women or whether it's to minorities, whether it's to newly freed slaves, those amendments were pointing out what you couldn't use to restrict voting, not to ensure voting, because according to our Constitution, we never ensured voting to everybody. It was male landowners.
Yeah.
That's our Constitution. So when I've got a constitutional right to vote. I'm like, no, you do not. Your state will decide whether or not you're eligible. That's how that goes. But how many times do I have to go through this sort of stuff with these people? And so again, I can sit there with Jane Fonda, be like, explain yourself. And unfortunately, she will not be able to. Like, what is the attack on free speech? Explain to me what you cannot say in this country, because I lived through what you couldn't say in this country.
We've actually seen it.
I actually saw it when I was like, COVID's a cold.
Yeah. And it was.
Why are we shutting down the economy over this?
And that whole 6 feet apart thing, that doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound legitimate to me, just on the surface. Oh, it wasn't.
Average age of death, 78. Why are we freaking out about kids going to school? Average age of death, 78.
How tired must you be of getting everything wrong? If you're Jane Fonda, and I know she's too arrogant to reflect and be like, man, I've been wrong about everything my entire life. At what point do you grow weary of your own ignorance?
That woman, and this has been pointed out, you had prisoners of war that passed her notes to give to their families, and she gave them to the North Vietnamese.
And sat on the tanks with them and told them how good they were treating the American POWs. That woman,
she'll never get beyond that.
I have no love for her. What would an Iranian say to Jane Fonda? Talk about that next on Extra 106.3. Let you hear from an actual Iranian. Next.
Extra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Monday, March 2nd. The Atlanta Hawks are now back to 500 as they beat the Portland Trailblazers last night in blowout fashion, 135-101 at State Farm Arena. The Hawks are now 31-31 with 20 games in the regular season to play and hold the 9th spot in the Eastern Conference playoffs. They are off until Wednesday night. From the NFL, over the weekend as the NFL Scouting Combine was concluding, the Falcons fired assistant coach LaTroy Lewis after allegations of a sexual assault surfaced against him. Ann Arbor police confirmed they are investigating the matter, which reportedly occurred in late 2024. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Let's be honest. All cars and all car dealerships are not created equally. So when you're buying a new Toyota, you're not buying a vehicle, you're protecting a major investment. That's why where you buy matters. For over 50 years, Marietta Toyota served our community with the reputation built on straight answers, real accountability, and doing business the right way, proudly here since 1975. They have realized since day one that giving the customer the best deal possible, more car than they thought they were going to get inside their budget, that's how you keep people coming back. Here's the difference you won't hear everywhere. Every new Toyota comes with our nationwide lifetime powertrain warranty. That's valid for unlimited time and unlimited mileage as long as you own your Toyota. That's long-term confidence backed by Toyota quality and, of course, supported by Marietta Toyota, a dealership that will be here after the sale with service and genuine Toyota parts on Cobb Parkway South. Visit Marietta Toyota on Cobb Parkway South, about 3 miles north of Truist Park. MariettaToyota.com. Visit Marietta Toyota. We've been here and we'll be here for you.
Nationwide lifetime powertrain warranty included with every new Toyota purchase. See dealer for coverage details, exclusions, and requirements.
A golf instructor who knows technique can improve an aspiring pro's swing.
4
more. But one who really cares can help transform a career.
There he is, your new champion.
When you team up with someone who knows a lot and cares even more, you're unstoppable. At Truist, we believe the same is true for banking. Truist, leaders in banking, unwavering in care. Truist Bank, member FDIC, leading based on top 10 U.S. commercial bank.
I'm Rick Jackson. My dad abandoned us. My mom was an alcoholic, so I left the projects. Shoe shining, ticket scalping, vacuum sales. I found purpose in work and built a $3 billion business. Like President Trump, I don't owe anybody anything. And like you, I'm sick of career politicians. I'm running for governor to lead America in criminal deportations, to cut income taxes in half, freeze our insane property taxes, reform the system so that anyone who can work will work, and not just sit around binge watching Netflix and eating Cheetos. I'll let law enforcement do their job. And if you're caught helping a child change their sex, you're going to jail. I'm Rick Jackson, and I'll get these done. Paid for by Jackson for Governor, Inc.
Hello.
Hey, is this Mike Fitzgerald?
No, I think you have the wrong number. Wish I could help you.
Well, you could if you were Mike Fitzgerald.
Who is Mike Fitzgerald?
Mike Fitzgerald is the only realtor I'll talk to because he can sell my house fast for a great price and even in this market.
Yeah, I'm definitely not Mike Fitzgerald.
Oh, I figured that out. Because Mike Fitzgerald would have sold my house already.
Need to sell your home? You need Mike Fitzgerald from the Harry Norman Realtors team. Exclusive Georgia members of Forbes Global Properties. Learn more at MikeFitzgeraldRealty.com. That's where you'll find Mike Fitzgerald.
The Morning Extra, every weekday on your drive to work on Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra 106.3 app.
The one that you cannot miss, the one that I don't know if we can be friends if you miss, is the legendary Kimmer Show. Dude is a staple. He is a foundational member of the Atlanta community when it comes to radio. It's so good. When he gets fired up, he's like, oh my God. It's the greatest.
If you happen to catch him on the YouTube channel, hell, he gets his 10,000 steps in this 100 square foot building.
Dude, he's going. It is something to see.
He's not low energy.
No, he's not. Absolutely not. And he has lots of guns.
He's
got a lot of energy and lots of guns. Which I love.
He's exactly who you think he is.
Absolutely. See, and that's key, right? In this world that we live in, how many people put on the facade?
I'll tell you this, too. He's very kind.
His passion for animals, he is the softest heart of anybody.
Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station is Extra 106.3.
I tell you, people are hysterical. And they're using this this moment of tense action, military action, and just an intense time to be alive to make people laugh a little bit. Friend of mine, and I think Los knows him really well, too, Josh Brown. He says, Mr. President, if you can hear me, the Dodgers are days away from getting a nuclear weapon.
They must be dealt with.
They've got to be dealt with. Otherwise, we might lose the Major League Baseball season here in the near future. Another person, and it's, I don't know what the actual handle is, but the label is Canada Hates Trump. And it's points, got a map of Florida, and it says Trump is here. And somebody quote tweeted it and said, guys, it was just a hockey game. It's so good. Then there's this shanty of a boat. And this guy's name is Charlie at LA Chase 77. And it's a shanty of a boat, and it's got the Alabama state flag on top of it. And it says the USS Alabama on high alert and actively monitoring the situation on Lake Martin.
Ready to go.
Some of the genius stuff. Tell them about the one you know about the Death Row Records one.
So it has Donald Trump, and he's there with a good number of his cabinet members, including, obviously Vice President J.D. Vance, and they are all look like 90s rap artists. And what it points out, and it goes through, just kind of goes through the list. It says, Trump got 34 felonies, 3 baby mamas, been shot, and kidnapped a sitting president. He's running our government like Death Row Records from the 90s. That is hilarious.
This is so great in the picture of the visuals.
And he's just sitting there, got a smoke.
Yeah, that's right.
Sitting there talking right at the podium. Surrounded by other guys that look like 90s hip-hop.
All those are hysterical. Those are funny. But then I want to read you one that is going to hit you square in the chin. And it says, many Iranians are now more pro-America than the Democrats. How awful is that to think that the Democrat Party has become so anti-American and they've embraced anti-American ideals and points of view and policies and ideas. I don't know how to think about them anymore. I've lost so much respect for them. There's only a handful. John Fetterman's the only one that makes sense whatsoever. He's the only one, though, that I can tell. He's the only one.
We might have to dig up the audio. There was a woman who appeared on CNN, and she pointed out how, as a lifelong Democrat, this is embarrassing. She started getting into how, if you're looking to take the big picture view of this, how can actions that get rid of one of the more murderous leaders of a regime that, again, if I told you it's 40,000, let's say it's 10,000, still 10,000 people that they just decided, you're protesting, you have to go. And the Democrats are standing up and being like, well, why would we ever do that? It's like, because you're the party. As you slip further and further into communism, communism is anti-human.
Yeah, it is.
Right? It's anti-life. It's a death cult.
Yeah.
And yet you consider to push this. Listen to what this Democrat was pointing out on CNN.
I think that it is imperative the Democratic Party wake up and get past their dislike of Donald Trump, President Trump, and their feelings of international conflicts going on. This is about national security. This is about what is possible in the Middle East. This is about being a good neighbor, good partner to the Gulf states and what their aspirations are. This is about supporting the people of Venezuela. This is about dismembering our relationship with, or not dismembering, but resetting our relationship with China. Right now, 55% of the oil production that Iran produces goes to China despite sanctions. You want to support the people of Ukraine. You want to end that war. You have to. There is no getting around dismembering this Islamic Republic. It is non-negotiable. It is not a want to have. It is a have to have. And it's not just for the Iranian people. I think you have to trust the Iranian people. We know this government better than anyone else. When you dismember and decapitate this regime, you are going to see a change in the Middle East, in Venezuela, in China, in Ukraine. And I think, quite frankly, their ideology has it's caused a lot of problems for us worldwide. We need to take it seriously. And I think at this point, we have a tremendous opportunity. This will be like ending the Soviet Union, the Berlin Wall. This is a transformational moment for humankind, for security. And as an American, this is in our interest to complete it. So I am a Democrat. I have been a huge Democrat. I am incredibly disappointed with my party. I do not see myself in them in this moment.
Well, she's not going to be a Democrat for any longer now.
They'll kick her out. Yeah, there's no way.
You gotta go.
They're going to have room for her. But I love what she said and give her a lot of credit for being brave as an Iranian American. She said, I'm an American first. She didn't say I'm a Democrat first. She said, I'm an American first. I saw this tweet, and it was retweeted by Dr. Robert Malone, which we obviously have a lot of respect for. And the tweet says, I don't trust anyone, right, left, or libertarian, rooting for America to fail. And it seems like there's some out there that are doing that. Not her, not me, not Los, not you. But there are people out there, and those people disgust me. Is there room to talk about decisions that we make as a country, as a government? Yes, of course there is. But in the minute when things are happening, the only thing I can see is I want America to succeed. There's nothing more that I want to see happen than the United States of America succeed. And look, by doing that, I hope the Iranians succeed. I hope we damage China. 20% of their oil comes from Venezuela and Iran. Guess what? They're not getting right now. So that damages our greatest enemy, our greatest adversary. So I want to see America succeed. When we succeed, we can talk about, we can reflect on, we can discuss how we could have did it better. What decisions we should have made leading up. There's all kinds of discussion points, Los, that you can have, but not right now.
They've created, this administration, a coalition in the Gulf, and they're all interested in Iran no longer be running by these people. That's the coalition. Now, that also, as we've gone through some of the crazy stuff that's gone on in the Middle East over the last several years, it's interesting how we were always told, well, they'll band together, and this is what they're going to do, and they'll attack the infidels. Have you noticed they look at it as, hey, the Iranians are nuts, and the Palestinians are nuts. And so if you can find a way to help us deal with these things, this is going to be a better place for everybody.
We're willing to listen.
We're willing to listen.
And they have. And so much so the Saudis, and we started the show with this, the Saudis had a proclamation that we will even enter in the operations with the United States and with Israel to attack Iran. The Saudis, of all people. If you would have told me 15 years ago, 20 years ago, that it would be the Saudis that would be coming to our defense or coming to our side, coming to our aid to help, and not the Europeans, I would have called you a liar.
And there's also something else I think needs to be examined, and we'll probably be able to get into the back half of this show, the final 2 hours. The amount of anti-Semitism that's been running through the Democrat Party for as long as it has, it continues to rear its head, but also there's the same thing on the fringe, kooky end of the right that believes that Israel is in charge of the United States and we're just doing their bidding.
Like the Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, people like that.
Yeah. And it's so weird out there. I know you want to make an argument for this, but you've made it with this idea of, well, they're Jewish and they have horns and tails and now they're in charge. Like, hold on a second. I thought we were talking about an ally.
Right. The greatest ally that we have in the Middle East.
I thought we were talking about someone that has backed us militarily as much as we've backed them in that region. Because Israel pointed out when it came to the bombings of trying to take out the nuclear facilities, they couldn't do that. That's us.
Yep.
We're the ones who can do that.
Yep.
And operationally, the reason why we were able to accomplish what we were able to accomplish is I'm willing to bet the Mossad, with their amount of intel along with the CIA, knew exactly who was going to be there and how many and what time.
And when you're saying be there, that was the reason we launched the strike during the day, is because we knew that the Ayatollah Khomeini and his inner circle were going to be in one location to meet, because they would never strike during the daytime. They always wait until night. We will have the safety of the day to keep us from being annihilated. And yet they were completely wrong because of that great intel that we gathered. Morning Extra and Extra 106.3. When we come back, America is the greatest force for good on the face of the earth. That is the discussion we'll have with you. 404-741-1230 at Extra 106.3 across the social media platforms.
Time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
Well, this has been a pretty intense news weekend, although I'm sure about 60% of Americans could not tell you what this is all about. First of all, am I in support of what Donald Trump has done? Absolutely, 100%, and it's about time. For 47 years, these Muslim thugs have been chanting death to America. And how many have they killed? Of their own people? Just a couple of weeks ago, they killed 30,000 countrymen because they were demonstrating against Iranian leadership. Listen to this. When demonstrators were injured and sent to the hospital, on many occasions they were visited by Islamic government goons. They were shot in their hospital beds, and their families were given a bill for the bullets. And was there ever a doubt that Democrats would be against it? Barack Obama gave this regime over $1 billion in cash. Hillary Clinton opened the door to Russian uranium for Iran. And Joe Biden sat around with his teeth in his mouth. Finally, Donald Trump grew a pair and did something. Georgia's useless Senator John Ossoff. Oh, there should have been more talks. You idiot! What are you talking about? Discussions with Iran? They've been going on for over 40 years and yielded nothing. They've never made a promise they kept. Good Lord, Georgia voters, can you get rid of this lightweight in the upcoming election, please? Now, where this is going to go, I don't know. One thing for sure, Iran will not have nuclear weapons. And interestingly enough, they have almost all of the Arab states opposed to them right now. The next few weeks ought to be fun. I'll check in when I'm not on the golf course. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
This is Poll Parade with Fox News Director of Polling, Dana Blanton.
Lots of people are asking how President Trump's ratings stack up against where former President Biden was 4 years ago. Let's take a look. Everyone knows Trump's numbers aren't great. Our Fox News survey shows his job approval stands at 44%. Here's the thing. It was about the same for Biden. He was at 47%, just 3 points higher, at this same point in early 2022. Back then, 27% of voters rated the economy positively. Today, it's 30%, so it's a bit better now. When it comes to handling the economy, the numbers are nearly identical. 40% approve of Trump's handling, 41% approved of Biden's. One more. When asked whether the president's economic policies have helped or hurt them personally, Trump is underwater by 23 points. That isn't great, but Biden was down by 30 points at the time. Check out our chart of Trump's job ratings at foxnews.com/poll. I'm Dana Blanton, and that's your Poll Parade.
From the latest breaking news to the conservative voices you know and trust, your best new follow on social media is Extra 1063. We're at XTRA 1063 on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, and LinkedIn, and pretty much any social media you scroll through every day. And we drop exclusive giveaways, new daily content, and the latest breaking news from Georgia and across this great nation. Interact with your favorite Extra personalities. Get the latest on our live events and so much more. Follow at Extra 1063 across all your social media and keep up with Atlanta's only conservative voice.
Hey, it's Glenn Beck, and I am live every weekday, 10 a.m. after the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 8 a.m. hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air.
This is a Fox News alert. A fourth American has died in Operation Epic Fury. I'm Dave Anthony. Was one of the 5 who'd been badly wounded, succumbing to their injuries the day after President Trump offered condolences to the families of those killed and prayers to the injured.
And sadly, there will likely be more. Before it ends, that's the way it is.
The president in that Truth Social video also said this, with the U.S. and Israel continuing to attack Iran.
The entire military command is gone as well, and many of them want to surrender into saving their lives.
The supreme leaders among the 500-plus people killed in Iran.
We thank President Trump for having brought us to a point of thinking that now we have a real chance to take over our country.
That's exiled Iran Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi telling Fox he wants to return to Iran to lead a push for democracy. We expect an update any minute from War Secretary Pete Hegseth as Iran keeps targeting U.S. facilities in the region.
The U.S. military says Kuwaiti air defenses mistakenly shot down 3 American F-15E Strike Eagle aircraft. There's video appearing to show at least 1 jet plummeting to Earth. The 6 pilots ejected safely. They're in a stable condition in the hospital. We're told the incident happened during combat, including attacks from Iranian aircraft, ballistic missiles and drones.
That's Fox's Jonathan Savage. The U.S. embassies and consulates have also been targets in the region, and Fox's Lucas Tomlinson reports.
And just a few minutes ago, the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad is out with a new statement warning Americans to shelter in place and to be aware of the Iranian-backed militias that are scattered throughout Iraq, and are also warning against protests.
As Iran fires missiles into Israel again.
The southern Israeli city of Beersheba took a direct impact. First responders telling Fox News at least 10 people were injured and taken to local hospitals.
Fox's Trey Inkstele's 9 other Israelis been killed in earlier attacks as Hezbollah fires rockets from Lebanon and Israel retaliates. America's listening to Fox News.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, E-T-H-O-S. Ethos.com/Mike.
Wake up with the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3 Atlanta.
Morning, y'all. Tug and Los, halfway through the show. And we've touched on a lot, and we will do that again just because there's so much to talk about and there's so much to debate. So many angles to this story, so many layers to the onion. The one thing that we know is that we're cheering for Team USA. It's like the Olympics again. You know, unlike Saturday Night Live, where there were people wondering why the hockey players didn't get booed on Saturday Night Live, because we're Team USA, fools. That's why. God, why? Like, some people blow me away with how they feel and their entitlement and everything that they've been able to accomplish in this country, because this country gives you the ability to accomplish anything you set your mind to. And yet they still act like it's a bad place that millions of people are trying to die to get here on.
When you're voting with somebody next to an R with their name, this has changed. There is now a large amount of different factions that all fall under this tent. There are these are the MAGA people, and that comes with its own connotation of what it is. There are these are the traditional Republicans. All right, these are in my opinion, the conservatives. But then there's also people like me, the extreme nationalist.
That's right.
The one who's America first, America all the time. America, America, America. Okay? Like that, I'm the Marsha Brady of this stuff. That's what I'm about here. The crazy part to me is that the other side, as they've moved further and further to the left, have been this perfect counterbalance to me. They're anything anti-America, anti-Donald Trump.
And they celebrate it.
And they celebrate it in this way.
And rub it in your face.
And they root for it.
And root for it, yeah.
It's the strangest that somehow the counterbalance to me wanting the country to do well is you hope we fail. Well, how? How is that somehow productive? Well, it's not. It's a means to an end.
Right. And what will that bring? Like, with America failing.
Like you think you're getting an anti-American check in the mail?
Yeah, right? You know, and do you think you're going to have, like, this perfect utopia that you've been promised for ever?
It's for children.
It is. Dude, to believe the ignorance of socialism, you have to be either completely uneducated, you have to not pay attention at all, ever, or you're living in la-la land. And maybe that's it. Maybe they're living in la-la land. They believe that socialism can work. I don't believe that is the case. I never believe that is the case. Because nothing goes the government is so big and so bloated, they just cannot give you everything that you want for free.
We're doing this on the fly.
Okay.
You want to hear from Pete Hegseth?
Sure, yeah.
All right, here's Pete Hegseth right now on Fox News as he is doing a Pentagon briefing on the strike.
Arsenal of ballistic missiles and killer drones are no longer tolerable risks. Iran was building powerful missiles and drones to create a conventional shield for their nuclear blackmail ambitions. Let me say that again. A conventional shield for their nuclear blackmail ambitions. Our bases, our people, our allies, all in their crosshairs. Iran had a conventional gun to our head as they tried to lie their way to a nuclear bomb. It almost worked under Obama and his terrible deal, but not under this president. Turns out the regime who chanted death to America and death to Israel was gifted death from America and death from Israel. This is not a so-called regime change war, but the regime sure did change, and the world is better off for it. Today, in their desperation, the enemy is unmasked as Iranian missiles and drones rain down indiscriminately on the hotels, airports, apartments, and other civilian targets of their neighbors. Cowardly terrorist tactics from a regime that for decades has trafficked in cowardly terrorist tactics, lies, death, and destruction to this day. The Iranian leadership has built nothing. except proxies and missiles and drones and deeply buried nuclear factories and facilities. Peaceful nuclear ambitions do not need to be buried underneath mountains. Last June, Operation Midnight Hammer obliterated their nuclear program to rubble. Afterward, we told them plainly, that's it, now make a deal. They arrogantly refused. We said, rebuild it, and we'll stop you again, this time far worse. Well, President Trump, Secretary Rubio, Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner, they bent over backwards for real diplomacy, offering pathway after pathway to peace. I watched it. I was there. They tried over and over and over again earnest attempts at peace. The former regime had every chance to make a peaceful and sensible deal. But Tehran was not negotiating. They were stalling, buying time to reload their missile stockpiles and restart their nuclear ambitions. Their goal, hold us hostage, threatening to strike our forces. Well, President Trump doesn't play those games. And as Secretary Rubio said after the Maduro raid, if you don't know, now you know. President Trump puts America and Americans first. He doesn't hesitate, and neither do our troops. The mission of Operation Epic Fury is laser-focused. Destroy Iranian offensive missiles, destroy Iranian missile production, destroy their navy and other security infrastructure, and they will never have nuclear weapons. We're hitting them surgically, overwhelmingly, and unapologetically. With every passing day, our capabilities get stronger and Iran's get weaker. We set the terms of this war, from start to finish. Our ambitions are not utopian. They are realistic, scoped to our interests and the defense of our people and our allies. Speaking of people, we hope the Iranian people take advantage of this incredible opportunity. President Trump has been clear, now is your time. To Iranian security forces, choose wisely. President Trump has also been clear about your fate in either direction. To the media outlets and political left screaming endless wars, stop. This is not Iraq. This is not endless. I was there for both. Our generation knows better, and so does this president. He called the last 20 years of nation-building wars dumb, and he's right. This is the opposite. This operation is a clear, devastating, decisive mission. Destroy the missile threat, destroy the Navy, no nukes. Israel has clear missions as well, for which we are grateful. Capable partners, as we've said since the beginning, capable partners are good partners. Unlike so many of our traditional allies who wring their hands and clutch their pearls, hemming and hawing about the use of force.
Listening to Pete Hegseth.
America, regardless of what so-called international institutions say, is unleashing the most lethal and precise air power campaign in history.
Secretary of War.
B-2s, fighters, drones, missiles, and of course, classified effects. All on our terms, with maximum authorities. No stupid rules of engagement, no nation-building quagmire, no democracy-building exercise, no politically correct wars. We fight to win, and we don't waste time or lives. As the president warned, an effort of this scope will include casualties. War is hell, and always will be. A grateful nation honors the 4 Americans we have lost thus far and those injured. The absolute best of America. May we prosecute the remainder of this operation in a manner that honors them. No apologies, no hesitation, epic fury for them and the thousands of Americans before them, taken too soon by Iranian radicals. Before I turn it over to General Kane for the operational update, let me speak straight to you, the Joint Force, our warriors on the front lines. This is your moment. This is the generational turning point America has waited for since 1979, and since the rudderless wars of hubris my generation, our generation, endured. Don't listen to the noise. Just stay focused. Our commander-in-chief is steady at the wheel. We face a determined enemy, but you are better. But we must prove it every single day. History doesn't care if we're tired, if we're scared, or if the fight feels big. It demands warriors who rise anyway. Peace through strength, the warrior ethos, lethality, unity of purpose, those are not slogans. They're the beating heart of what it means to wear the uniform, that uniform. You think clearly under fire, you act decisively in chaos, you uphold the Constitution, and you uphold our country without hesitation. We are not defenders anymore. We are warriors, trained to kill the enemy and break their will. History is watching. Be the force you swore an oath to be: focused, disciplined, lethal, and unbreakable. We will finish this on America First conditions of President Trump's choosing. Nobody else's, as it should be. And know this above all, President Trump and I have your back, always. Through fire, through criticism, through fake news, through everything. We unleash you because you are the best, most powerful, most lethal fighting force the world has ever seen. May Almighty God watch over you, and his providential arms of protection extend over you. Godspeed, warriors, and keep going. General Kane, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
This is General Kane, who's now speaking at the Pentagon about the operational work, the attacks on Iran.
You and the American people on the actions taken thus far. The briefing will discuss the preparation, the planning, setting the force, the early operations, and how we're assessing the progress thus far. So let's get started. On Saturday, 28 February at 01:15 Eastern Standard Time, 9:45 a.m. local Tehran time, on the orders of the President of the United States, U.S. Central Command, under the command of United States Navy Admiral Brad Cooper, commenced Operation Epic Fury. As I said, I'm going to walk you through the initial phases of the operation. But first, I want to express my deep condolences and the condolences of the Joint Force to the Department of War personnel killed and wounded in actions thus far. As the Secretary said, they're heroes and represent the best of our nation has to offer. They're true examples of what selfless service means. Our deepest and heartfelt condolences are with their families, their friends, and their units. We grieve with you, and we will never forget you. Additionally, I stand here before you today grateful for each service member, planner, logistician, operator across our joint force, for our Department of War civilians, our intelligence community teammates, our interagency teammates who continue to stand in harm's way alongside us. I am proud of all of you as you take the fight to the enemy, and we are the best in the world at integrating, period. I want to extend my personal gratitude to the dedicated commanders and senior enlisted leaders and the enlisted members of the Joint Force who are fighting this fight across the CENTCOM AOR. In addition to Admiral Cooper and Fleet Master Chief Compton, I want to highlight a few today. U.S. Army Central Command Commander Lieutenant General Pat Frank, who, along with his team, are fighting the counter-missile and counter-drone fight. United States Navy Central Command Commander Vice Admiral Kurt Renshaw and his team, who are engaged with the Iranian Navy and projecting American naval combat power from the seas. And United States Air Force Central Command Commander Lieutenant General Derek France and his leadership team, who are crushing Iranian targets from the air. I want to highlight the support to the CENTCOM fight from other combatant commands who are directly involved with this effort, to include U.S. Spacecom, U.S. Cybercom, and U.S. UCOM. I also want to specifically call out United States Transportation Command and U.S. STRATCOM for their contributions to this fight. We cannot project American combat power at the time and place of our choosing without both. And finally, I want to express how deeply thankful I am for the continued service and sacrifice of the entire Joint Force and their families. Their unwavering commitment and dedication are the cornerstones of this effort. So let me start with a few details. First, to be clear, as the Secretary said, this is not a single overnight operation. The military objectives that CENTCOM and the Joint Force have been tasked with will take some time to achieve, and in some cases will be difficult and gritty work. We expect to take additional losses, and as always, we will work to minimize U.S. losses. But as the Secretary said, this is major combat operations. So let me talk about the preparation and the planning. On February 28th, the full strength of America's armed forces came together in a unified purpose against a capable and determined adversary. The United States Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Air Force, Space Force, Coast Guard, and our reserve components integrated across our combatant commands and began coordinated operations with the Israeli armed forces of an unprecedented scale. As the Secretary laid out, our military objectives are clear. Our mission is to protect and defend ourselves and, together with our regional partners, prevent Iran from the ability to project power outside of its borders and be ready for follow-on actions as appropriate. Across every domain, land, air, sea, cyber, the U.S. Joint Force delivered synchronized and layered effects designed to disrupt, degrade, deny, and destroy Iran's ability to conduct and sustain combat operations. On the U.S. side, this marked the culmination of months and in some cases years of deliberate planning and refinement against this particular target set. From precision strikes against key military infrastructure to persistent intelligence and targeting integration to the close coordination of the components across vast distances, this operation again demonstrated America's reach, readiness, and professionalism, and that of our joint united force. It was historic not only in the operational scope, but in the level of joint integration displayed across every element of the joint force. And as I said earlier, this work is just beginning and will continue. So now to talk a little bit about setting the force and setting the theater. On the order of the Secretary of War over the last 30 days to reinforce deterrence and provide the President with credible options should action be required, the Joint Force began to systematically reposition assets and personnel across the region. These movements ensured that U.S. forces remained postured, protected, and ready to respond decisively for any emerging threat. This deployment included thousands of service members from all branches, hundreds of advanced fourth and fifth generation fighters, dozens of refueling tankers, the Lincoln and Ford Carrier Strike Group and their embarked air wings, sustained flow of munitions, fuel, supplies, all supported with command and control, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance network. And
You've been listening to Secretary of War Pete Hegseth and also General Kane explaining the logistical aspects as well as the overall goals of the strikes on Iran over the weekend and what the plans are to continue those strikes in order to get rid of the offensive capabilities of the Iranian military, their navy, and also their forward strike capabilities with their missiles that have been being launched all around the region, Tug.
Dude, I took a page full of notes just because there were so many things that were being said that were so important. And at the top, you know, kind of when we picked up, this was not about regime change, us were changing the regime, but the regime sure has changed. You know, a bullet statement moment for the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth. And you know, he talked about we're not giving you utopian hopes, we're being realistic about what is going to happen and what will take place. Iran had the choice, they made their choice. Iranians, speaking to the Iranian people, now is your time. You have to pick this up. We will be there to guide your hands, but this is your country. You have to be the ones that take the direction. If we install someone, we know that's not going to work. It didn't work with the Shah. There's a reason there was a revolution. This is not an endless war. He talked about that. The clear and devastating, being decisive about the strikes that we're making, knowing with good intel what we have. I love what he said about Israel, and I would even include the Gulf states, because he talked about great partners, Los. And Israel has been a great partner in this, everywhere else too, but in this specifically. He didn't say the Gulf states specifically. I would put that in there. When he talks about the great partners, where's Europe? That's what I heard him say. Where is our partners in Europe that all of a sudden 18 hours ago said, oh, yeah, now you can use our bases when it seems safe?
I want to talk about the lack of utopian vision on this, and I think that's important. I think we can take a break.
Yeah, sure.
We
Let's
take
do
it
that.
on the
Let's
other
do
side.
that.
There's
Yeah.
so much we have to
Dude.
unpack from this stuff.
Oh, my
I know
God.
you got a ton of notes that you've already taken.
I'm so moved by a lot of it, specifically when he was talking to our Warriors. Holy cow. Next on Extra 106.3.
Listen to the Morning Extra, The Kimmer Show, Neil Bortz, and all your favorite Extra 106.3 personalities whenever you want with the all-new Extra app. It's anytime show replays, all your favorite podcasts, and the latest political news from across Georgia. Download the Extra 106.3 app now for Apple or Android.
Ready to sell your home fast and for top dollar? Trust Design to Sell. Staging and interior design experts recognized as one of the top 10 staging companies in the nation. From stylish redesigns to full-service staging, Design to Sell creates spaces buyers fall in love with. Faster sales, better offers. That's the power of great design. Call 678-505-1433 or visit homedesign2sell.com and ask for the fan special.
So you got into an argument. Things got heated. Then a fight broke out, and it landed you in jail. Now what? You need a second chance bail bonds. They can get you or your loved one out of jail quickly, in most cases, in a few hours. So make the right call. A second chance bail bonds. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us. Call 404-BAIL-OUT. That's 404-BAIL-OUT or online at atlbail.com.
Hi, it's Los, here with Tom Mitchell, the honest car guy. Tom, you are changing the way people are buying their next pre-owned car or truck. How are you doing it?
At the Honest Car Guy, the entire process is completely transparent. You pay what we pay plus our honest fee, and we even prove it by giving you a copy of the bill of sale. We can sell you any make, any year, any model, and at the Honest Car Guy, you'll save an average of $5,000 to $10,000 depending on the price of the car.
Folks, if you want to save thousands on your next pre-owned car or truck, call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1, or honestcarguy.com.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Monday, March 2nd, and here are your headlines. The father of Lincoln Riley has filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the University of Georgia school system and owners of a local Athens apartment complex, alleging the university school system failed to provide a safe environment in Athens and claimed the Argo apartment complex, where the convicted killer lived, did not adequately screen tenants. The suit seeks $1 million in damages and claims negligence in the events leading up to her killing. Brian Wright, former senior pastor of Johnson Ferry Baptist Church in Marietta and founder of Right from the Heart Ministries, is sheltering in place in Jerusalem with his wife Ann and others after the U.S. airstrikes in Iran over the weekend. Marietta-based pastor says their group is safe but has taken cover in a hotel bomb shelter amid missile alerts and airspace shutdowns while waiting for a safe opportunity to return home. And finally, Cobb County will honor 31 of its star students and teachers at its annual Student Teacher Achievement Recognition Banquet, recognizing the district's highest SAT scores and the educators they selected as having the greatest impact on their academic success. The event highlights top performing seniors from high schools across the county and will occur March 3rd at 6 p.m. Today's weather is partly cloudy with a high of 71 and a low of 51. With your Extra 106.3 headlines, I'm Bryce Gobert.
Los until 10 on Extra 106.3. We just heard from Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, and then we heard from General Kane, who's got the greatest name of a general ever, Raising Kane, as a call sign. But wanted to go through some of the things that they had talked about. Iran had a choice. They chose unwisely. Clearly, they were dragging their feet. They were just not getting things done. There was no will for them to lose their nuclear arms program.
Secretary of War Pete Hegseth lined it out as he explained from the podium once you was it Midnight Hammer?
Mm-hmm.
So once you had destroyed their facilities, now was the negotiation point of stop. If you continue, there's going to be further action. But if you stop, here's the way forward. Here's going to be the work between the countries. This is what's going to happen. And as Secretary Hegseth was making the point, they were stalling in the interest of trying to have their forward operating weapons back up to speed and ready to go. And so that is why, and I believe when I talked about like the non-utopian view. Oh,
Right,
it's going to be great.
Because he even brought it up. He said, this is not a utopian mission. We have realistic expectations. We have realistic understanding of the troubles that could come.
Yes, the utopian view is the people of Iran rise up, take over their government, install some version that's not hell-bent on funding terrorism and doing what it's been doing for the better part of the last 50 years. And that's a possibility, but that's a utopian vision. I think the better end, or the more realistic end, it's not better, it's more realistic. The next people are probably going to listen to you.
Yes, they are. You're seeing it happen.
They should.
You're seeing it happen in Venezuela.
Yeah.
Right, because the vice president, and I can't remember her name, so pardon me on that. She was left in charge because they didn't want some sort of power vacuum.
They didn't want to collapse.
Right, a full collapse. And they knew that there's need for the oil that's being pulled out of the ground, for all, there's a million different reasons. But they also knew that she's going to cooperate because she has seen what we're capable of doing and would do that to her if she didn't participate, didn't play ball.
I believe that is probably the most likely outcome with what is going on, with what Tehran is going to react with. If not, hit him again.
That's right, over and over. Well,
this is how it's going to work.
Yeah, I love the fact that he said peace through strength. Right now, we're not being defenders; we're being warriors. And then I'm here in a few minutes going to play you a piece of audio from Pete Hegseth, because there was a point in there where the hair on the back of my neck stood up and I had complete cold chills when he was talking directly to our military men and women in uniform. Bryce is working on that piece of audio now because I don't want to try to summarize it. It was put too well. I want you to hear it again from Pete Hegseth. But the whole Europe thing really bothers me. The fact that Europe, and Keir Starmer specifically, came out and said on Saturday, we had nothing to do with this. We know Iran's evil. We had nothing to do with this. We did not participate whatsoever. And all that told me was, oh, right, you don't have our back. Again, what's happening in Europe is a failing experiment. That unfettered access, unfettered immigration is destroying Europe from the inside out. And we don't have a lot in common with them anymore.
They have brought over so many people that are potential militants that now they have to worry about when you do have something that occurs on the world stage, will somebody there execute a terrorist act, whether they're a sleeper cell or whether they're just inspired to do so, similar to like what we saw in Austin. You know, this is your worry that you now have in these European nations.
And we have it, too, because of Biden opening the doors for the last 4 years. And we'll lay it at Biden's feet because he was the president, even though he had no idea what was going on. He was told what to do, what to say, and he did his best to do those things that the leftist actually running the government, like Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, in my opinion, were asking him to do.
What's that?
Yeah, exactly. He had no idea. He was, what did I just say? Yeah, and then he would just read, he would continue to read on,
That man would wander off at press events.
It's unreal, dude. It's unbelievable. But the fact that now, as of 18 hours ago, I think it was, the Europeans were like, oh, now you can use our military assets. You can use our bases. They told us we could not use Diego Garcia in the Indian Ocean, which was a big part of Operation Midnight Hammer. They told us, no, you can't use that. The Europeans, supposedly our greatest ally, said, no, you can't do that. They waited until it was very safe to come back and look, oh, yeah, now you can.
Well, that's going to cost you a little bit more in tariffs.
It should, as it should.
That's how this game now works.
But Europe has fallen, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know that
it's not a dependable ally any longer.
I don't know that you can depend on them for anything. But I don't know that Europe will ever be the same. I don't think it can.
for me, this is ideological. When you have, and this is often over on the left, but then there's concerned people on the right. Like, why do we have this relationship with Canada? Well, because Canada has moved so far to the left that many of the people that are pretty normal in Canada that, kind of sit right in the middle are wondering what happened to my country, in a very similar vein that has gone all across Europe. Now, does that mean that if something happened in crazy in Europe, we wouldn't be there? No, we would be there. But ideologically, we're no longer cousins. We're not even neighbors.
Yeah.
We're barely even friends. And it's not because we suddenly changed so radically. We just decided we're going to be about us. And our strength will help you along the way. The fact that you knock our strength is more of an ideological capture that's going on with your society, not from us suddenly doing something that's so weird and extreme.
We have a great listener, Jeff, that will reach out from time to time. He's even dropped by a couple times on his way, and he's Canadian. And he reached out and was like, I can't believe what I'm seeing. He said, it made me feel very jealous that we don't have a president that looks out for our country the way that y'all have a president that looks out for yours.
Let me ask you, we now have Q&A.
We should go back in there,
Right, yes. Let's go back over to Secretary Hegseth right here on Fox News.
With a lot of capabilities. That's part of the reason why it's such a threat to us. That's why I talk about conventional umbrella to blackmail nuclear ambitions. They were building up this conventional arsenal in order to ensure that no one would ever block them from their ability to get nuclear weapons. So we're very clear-eyed about the nature of this Iranian threat, and we're going to get after it. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for the question. The only thing I'll add is that unlike a single operation like Midnight Hammer or Absolute Resolve, it'll take some time for us to conduct battle damage assessment, and the targeting cycle that CENTCOM will run will take those things into effect. Admiral Cooper will adjust his plan and fires accordingly to ensure that we're attriting that. He's focused on long-range strike capability coming out of the enemy, and that's a key and essential part of it.
Of the capabilities that still exist from the enemy front.
Yeah, that's what I mean when I say we're still doing BDA. Normally we'd be able to see a singular thing and we'd assess pretty quickly. He's doing offense and assessment simultaneously, so it'll take longer for us to assess than it would in a single operation.
Secretary Hegseth, thank you. Reagan Reese with the Daily Caller. 2 questions for you. The president said yesterday in his video message that we will leave Iran when we complete all of our objectives. What are our objectives? And can you share more information on how the soldiers who were killed were killed?
Well, I laid out the objectives, as did the chairman. They're completely nested. I mean, Iran has an ability to project power against us and our allies in ways that we can't tolerate. So whether that's ballistic missiles and drones, so offensive capabilities, effectively their Navy, which would attempt to set other terms and impose different costs, drone capabilities, which we laid out there. And ultimately, though, this tying it back to Midnight Hammer, the president has been willing to make a deal. You can't have a nuclear bomb. Radical Islamists can't have a nuclear bomb that they wield against the world. He gave them every single opportunity. Then we precisely took it away. And even then, after that, they didn't have that. They didn't come to the table with a willingness to give it away. So ultimately, those nuclear ambitions, which never ceased, are something that had to be addressed as well. So that's a discrete sense of what's being addressed here to ensure that they can't use that conventional umbrella to continue a pursuit of nuclear ambitions. And then as it pertains to the U.S. casualties, that particular incident was, you have air defenses and the lot's coming in and you hit most of it, and we absolutely do. We have incredible air defenders. Every once in a while you might have one, unfortunately we call it a squirter that makes its way through, and in that particular case it happened to hit a tactical operations center that was fortified, but these are powerful weapons. So we certainly will do, as I said, moments like that, as we remember them and we take care of them and take care of their families, only stiffen our resolve to ensure that we do this properly.
Thank you.
Yeah. Right.
Thank you, Secretary Hegseth. I had 2 questions for you. First, are there currently any American boots on the ground in Iran?
No, but we're not going to go into the exercise of what we will or will not do. I think it's one of those fallacies for a long time that this department or presidents or others should tell the American people, this, and our enemies, by the way, here's exactly what we'll do. Here's exactly how long we'll go. Here's exactly how far we'll go. Here's what we're willing to do and not do. It's foolishness. And so President Trump ensures that our enemies understand we'll go as far as we need to go to advance American interests. But we're not dumb about it. You don't have to roll 200,000 people in there and stay for 20 years. We've proven that you can achieve objectives that advance American interests without being foolish about it. Now, will we be bold about it? Are we willing to be decisive about it? Do we put months and months of planning into what kind of effects we want to achieve? Absolutely. But going forward, why in the world would we tell you, the enemy, anybody, what we will or will not do in pursuit of an objective? We fight to win. We fight to achieve the objectives the President of the United States has laid out, and we will do so unapologetically. Thank you.
Is there any significance to Israel carrying out this strike to kill the Ayatollah? And I wanted to know, what was your immediate reaction to finding out about his killing?
I think Israel did a great job in the conduct of that operation.
President Trump put a 4-week timeline on it. Are you saying that's wrong?
Yeah, thank you. You mentioned during the briefing, General Kane, that there would be additional troops sent to the region. Could you say how many troops currently are involved in this operation and how many additional troops are planned to go in this next phase?
I don't want to talk specifics because that would tip the enemy off. We have more tactical aviation flowing into theater just based on the time it took to get it out there. I think we're just about where we want to be in terms of total combat capacity and total combat power for Admiral Cooper. One of the things, though, that a commander, he'll consistently assess the trajectory of the campaign. Is he on or off trajectory? And then make an ask of the joint force, which will then develop options for consideration by the Secretary and the President to either increase or in some cases decrease the amount of combat capability that we have over there.
I heard the question about 4 weeks. It's the typical NBC sort of gotcha type question. President Trump has all the latitude in the world to talk about how long it may or may not take. 4 weeks, 2 weeks, 6 weeks. It could move up. It could move back. We're going to execute at his command the objectives we've set out to achieve. And what he has shown an ability to do that other presidents can't quite seem to have the aperture to do, well, I mean, Joe Biden didn't even know what he was doing, is to look for opportunities and off-ramps and escalations for the United States that creates new opportunities to execute what we need on our own timeline. So you can play games about 4 weeks, 5 weeks. He has all the latitude, and I'm glad he does, because there's no better communicator than our president expressing those things.
To the Daily Mail.
I've been in meetings with the president for the last 2.5 days. We know exactly where his headspace is, and he will communicate as he should exactly what he would like, and we will follow those orders. And I think everything he said on that is right down the middle.
Chairman, did you
absolutely?
Have
yes, right there. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Secretary. I left my hometown of Sakis in Iranian Kurdistan in 1996. Can you promise that I will be able to return home safely this year? And I have a following question too, please.
I appreciate the question. I'm not here to place guarantees on that, but I think the message the president has given has been clear to the people of Iran. This is your moment. The world was seized by these crowds and then seized by the reality of this regime killing tens of thousands of innocent protesters. So we saw the nature of the regime yet again exposed. We saw many of the Iranian people seek a change there. This is their moment to take advantage of it, for sure.
You served in Iraq and know that no American soldiers were killed in Kurdistan. The Kurdish people are very pro-American. Will you continue protect Kurdistan and Peshmerga as loyal ally of the United States? Why I'm asking this question? Because now Kurdistan is under attack by Iranian drones and by proxies in Iraq and on the region.
I think I can speak to allies generally in the region who we've been in constant communication with. We been standing shoulder to shoulder with them, and we appreciate their capabilities. Absolutely. Yes, right here.
Hi, thank you. Cameron Arkin with the Daily Wire. My question is about some of the domestic threats, if any, regarding this right now. Have there been any concerns about Iranian sleeper cells, and kind of what has the Trump administration been doing to kind of monitor these threats?
Across the interagency, in full coordination, of course, we're paying attention to any potentialities there. This is a former regime, that seeks to export that ideology and try to sow terror. We're ready for that. We've seen these types of folks before, and the American people can rest assured that we're vigilant on that.
Secretary, thank you. Kind of a follow-up on that last question. There was just this, what appears to be a terrorist attack in Austin yesterday. How does that change the operation at all? What effect does that have?
It doesn't change the operation at all, and I know the authorities are executing exactly the way they should.
Secretary Hegseth, and one for Chairman Kaine as well. I understand, to your point here, that you don't want to broadcast everything for our adversaries to hear, but the American people also want to know what they're sending their men and women to war for. Is there a concern of this spiraling into a longer war? And then one for the chairman when you're done.
Did you not hear my remarks? I mean, we're ensuring the mission gets accomplished, but we are very clear-eyed, as the president has been, unlike other presidents, about the foolish policies of the past that recklessly pulled us in to things that were not tethered to actual clear objectives. So we know. We have plans, we have generals, we have chairmen, we have commanders, CENTCOM commanders, Admiral Cooper, who's executing very deliberately to ensure outcomes that I laid out are accomplished. But we would never, in front of a press pool, lay out how long that may take. The mission for our warfighters, which is what matters to us, is very, very clear. And they're executing it right now violently.
And just for the chairman quickly, I have one for the chairman. You said this is not a one-night operation. It will take time to achieve the goals. What would be the goal line here for you?
I think the Secretary laid out the military objectives, and that's what we execute against is the military objectives.
Last one right here.
Rich uranium is. Thank you, sir. As you've said, there are a large amount of U.S. service members that are in harm's way right now. What is your prayer for them?
First of all, my prayer for them is that I do pray for them. My wife prays for them. Our family prays for them. Our cabinet prays for them. None of this is done on a whim. Having been in their boots, having been in their shoes, having been in their flight suits, I know we think about them with every decision that we make and every recommendation that we make to the President of the United States. Those recommendations are made prayerfully. And when I pray every day for them and for this mission, I pray simply for the biblical wisdom to see what is right and the courage to do it. It's going to take courage to follow through on this. There's going to be a lot of noise, and we pray for that, and we hope all of you do as well. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
There you go. There he goes. That is Secretary of War Pete Hegseth finishing up over here at the Pentagon. Been holding that along with General Kaine for the past 45 minutes, giving what the overall operational plan is in Iran and Iran as well. Talking about making sure that when diplomacy has failed, as he explained in his opening comments, that initially after the attack last summer that was meant to get rid of the Iranian nuclear program, that they were stalling and continued to try and develop that program despite the attempt from the administration to find a different way forward, that a strike on the regime and the top of the regime was what the plan was moving forward in order to perhaps create some sort of change within that country, perhaps with the next regime, or whether or not the people end up rising up and taking power back from the mullahs.
Yeah. I loved what General Kaine said. He was like, the mission is pretty cut and dry. It's pretty straightforward. First, protect ourselves, our military members, our interests, and then prevent Iran from projecting any sort of power outside of their country.
Hence the sinking of the now 9 naval vessels to then go along with, as Secretary Hegseth was bringing up, trying to get rid of and attack their forward-facing missile systems that currently have been lobbing missiles at not just Israel, but I believe it's 9 countries around the rest of the Mideast in the hopes of trying to create some sort of regional conflict. This is not unlike what we saw the better part of 30, 35 years ago with what Saddam Hussein started doing by lobbing weapons all over the Middle East.
Yeah, as of 2:22 yesterday, it was 460-plus missiles, 350-plus drones at 11 countries across the Middle East, including Israel, Jordan, Kuwait, Oman, Bahrain, Qatar, UAE, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Cyprus, and Syria. I love the overarching message of everything that Secretary of War Hegseth said, peace through strength. I think that's something that the American people know and understand. That's something the American people expect. We've been trained to expect that we are going to do everything diplomatically we can to make sure that every avenue is exhausted. And then when we do, and we make the decision to go in and start putting our men and women in uniform in harm's way, that we are going to do it to the best of our ability. And I got to tell you, every question so far for me has been answered about Pete Hegseth and the way that he runs the Pentagon. They've had 0 missteps. Donald Trump's had 0 missteps when it comes to foreign policy. You can try to pick them apart. Good luck. I've not seen anything that makes me go, oh, my God, I can't believe this or that happened. I can't believe they made this choice or that choice. There's been none of that. And that started with Venezuela, and that continues to this moment in Iran.
Well, this is systemic. When you go after Tehran and you decide to bomb them and their regime and to cut off the head of the snake, it does have lasting effects around the world because of their oil supply. As it's been noted by us, and it was brought up a little bit during the Pentagon briefing, Iran has a relationship with China. And when there's less oil available,
deep relationship,
the Chinese aggression, especially when it comes to, let's say, Taiwan, that gets scaled back when they don't have the energy in order to conduct those operations. When you have what's going on in Cuba, what was it that Donald Trump called it? I think it was like Thursday of last week. We're going to assume some of the financial runnings of the country. Like, hold on a second. What are you talking about here? What exactly do you mean by this is what the role we're going to take in Cuba? But the more that you press these adversaries, the more that your enemies around the world start feeling that pain.
Well, you know that the Cubans have been a proxy of the Chinese for years, decades and decades. You know the Iranians have been. That's how the Chinese get things done that they don't want to get their hands dirty with. They just pay for it. And then it usually comes back to them in very cheap oil, right? So they can power their country and they can power their war machine. These proxies are being taken out one by one, starting with Venezuela and now Iran. And anybody who doesn't see that this is all an attack on China, this is the way that we're trying to send a strong message to China, but also one that will be damaging to them and their economy and their military. That is what you have to, that's the bigger picture. If you're asking me, what is the purpose for this in Iran and what was it in Venezuela? It is all to damage China.
To me, this is so much about like an island hopping campaign, like what happened during World War II. It's like, why did we go to certain places? Why did we skip over certain ones as we went on our way to Japan? This is a way to deal with Chinese aggression and their passions for what they want to be in this century without having to have any sort of cold or hot war.
That's right.
That we now are going to control the means by which you're looking to push aggression around the world. And all we're saying is stop, because they are a massive economic partner of ours, just as we are a massive economic partner of theirs. This relationship doesn't have to go the direction that it's been going. And so how do you encourage that? How do you give it a small shove out the door? By dealing with the destabilizer in the Mideast, that's Iran, and obviously dealing with what you dealt with in Venezuela, the destabilizer in that part of the country.
And Donald Trump invited Xi Jinping to the United States. That visit is scheduled for March 31st through April 2nd. That should be an interesting conversation between those two. And all of a sudden, Donald Trump has a big upper hand when they're sitting down together.
Tell me about those air defense systems that you employ.
Right.
How well did they work?
Yeah. If you notice, in Venezuela, not at all. If you notice, in Iran. Not at all.
And the technological end of this attack on Tehran, they didn't get into it. I was hoping that they would. General Kane did bring up the logisticians and some of the work that had gone on. But one of the areas that has been brought up is what we've been able to do with our information warfare, our information capabilities, how we're able to, with our satellite systems, beam information into, in this case, Iranian air defense systems and make them see things that weren't there. Like, that's next level Star Wars sort of stuff. That's, you don't have the capability of doing this. You don't stand a chance against us if you get on the wrong side. And that's not saying you go about bombing everybody, but every now and then you got to punch the bully in the mouth and let them know you're done being the bully.
That's right. Morning Extra and Extra 106.3, 8 o'clock hours brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier expert, 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com. There was one thing that Pete Hegseth said when he was talking directly to our men and women in uniform that made me, as a sailor, because I'll always be a sailor, it made me absolutely shiver with cold chills, hair on the back of my neck standing up. I want to play what he said to our men and women in uniform in theater right now. That'll absolutely blow you away. We'll do that after the Fox News update and the Neil Bortz report here on Extra 106.3.
Extra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Monday, March 2nd. The Atlanta Hawks are now back to 500 as they beat the Portland Trailblazers last night in blowout fashion, 135-101 at State Farm Arena. The Hawks are now 31-31 with 20 games in the regular season to play and hold the 9th spot in the Eastern Conference playoffs. They are off until Wednesday night. From the NFL, over the weekend as the NFL Scouting Combine was concluding, the Falcons fired assistant coach LaTroy Lewis after allegations of a sexual assault surfaced against him. Ann Arbor police confirmed they are investigating the matter, which reportedly occurred in late 2024. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
I'm Rick Jackson. My dad abandoned us. My mom was an alcoholic, so I left the projects. Shoe shining, ticket scalping, vacuum sales. I found purpose in work and built a $3 billion business. Like President Trump, I don't owe anybody anything. And like you, I'm sick of career politicians. I'm running for governor to lead America in criminal deportations, to cut income taxes in half, freeze our insane property taxes, reform the system so that anyone who can work will work, and not just sit around binge watching Netflix and eating Cheetos. I'll let law enforcement do their job. And if you're caught helping a child change their sex, you're going to jail. I'm Rick Jackson, and I'll get these done. Paid for by Jackson for Governor, Inc.
Hey, this is Matt from East Cobb. We basically bought our house from our in-laws. It was my wife's childhood home. One of the issues that we've had when we first moved in was our dog in our backyard. It was extremely shaded, could never grow grass back there. We resodded it twice. So ATL Turf Co. did an amazing job with our backyard transformation. They basically created a miniature golf hole. We have a miniature fairway. We also have a miniature little putting green. Consists of about 4 holes, total about 40 yards, so you can definitely work on your short game and your putting. After that transformation that ATL Turf Co. did for us, my father-in-law came and saw his house the way it looked after the fact of we had a putting green and a miniature golf course. Sure enough, he did the same thing with ATL Turf Co. He has a beautiful backyard, wonderful stonework, drainage, and a beautiful practice area for chipping and putting. Check him out online at atlturfco.com.
Thousands of veterans across Georgia are missing out on the benefits they've earned through their service. The Warrior Alliance is changing that by connecting veterans and their families to life-changing resources and support. Tune into the Warrior Alliance Network, our podcast and radio show dedicated to helping veterans succeed after service. Join us every Saturday at 11 a.m. on 106.3 to hear inspiring veteran stories, discover free programs, and learn about career opportunities available to you. Subscribe to the Warrior Alliance YouTube channel today.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
Well, this has been a pretty intense news weekend, although I'm sure about 60% of Americans could not tell you what this is all about. First of all, am I in support of what Donald Trump has done? Absolutely, 100%, and it's about time. For 47 years, these Muslim thugs have been chanting death to America. And how many have they killed? Of their own people? Just a couple of weeks ago, they killed 30,000 countrymen because they were demonstrating against Iranian leadership. Listen to this. When demonstrators were injured and sent to the hospital, on many occasions they were visited by Islamic government goons. They were shot in their hospital beds, and their families were given a bill for the bullets. And was there ever a doubt that Democrats would be against it? Barack Obama gave this regime over $1 billion in cash. Hillary Clinton opened the door to Russian uranium for Iran. And Joe Biden sat around with his teeth in his mouth. Finally, Donald Trump grew a pair and did something. Georgia's useless Senator John Ossoff. Oh, there should have been more talks. You idiot! What are you talking about? Discussions with Iran? They've been going on for over 40 years and yielded nothing. They've never made a promise they kept. Good Lord, Georgia voters, can you get rid of this lightweight in the upcoming election, please? Now, where this is going to go, I don't know. One thing for sure, Iran will not have nuclear weapons. And interestingly enough, they have almost all of the Arab states opposed to them right now. The next few weeks ought to be fun. I'll check in when I'm not on the golf course. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
Atlanta radio legends collide on Extra 106.3. The legend Neil Bortz is live every week with Atlanta legend The Kimmer. Because when you get these two guys together, who knows where we'll end up?
I am shocked. Well, not that shocked.
The Kimmer is live on your drive home every weekday afternoon from 3 to 6. And now Neil Bortz joins this show every week. And if you miss it, catch up anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
Well, I appreciate you guys. I love what you do. I love your show. Love your listeners. And just remember, one team, one fight. This nation actually is special for a reason. If we lose it, there's no more hope in the world. I truly believe that.
The Morning Extra, 6 to 10 a.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app. Streaming across Georgia on the Extra 106.3 app. This is WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. Extra 106.3.
This is a Fox News alert. An update from the Pentagon. I'm Dave Anthony.
The mission of Operation Epic Fury is laser focused. Destroy Iranian offensive missiles, destroy Iranian missile production, destroy their navy and other security infrastructure, and they will never have nuclear weapons.
War Secretary Pete Hegseth on day 3 of the U.S. and Israeli attacks.
To the media outlets and political left screaming endless wars, stop. This is not Iraq. This is not endless.
And as Iran fights back, the secretary adds,
war is hell and always will be. A grateful nation honors the 4 Americans we have lost thus far and those injured.
The military's Joint Chiefs of Staff Chairman General Dan Kane just said additional U.S. forces are being deployed, and this mission is going to take some time.
And in some cases will be difficult and gritty work. We expect to take additional losses.
Iran's supreme leader has been killed among the 500-plus deaths in Iran, and Fox's Stephanie Bennett reports.
Hundreds of targets in Iran have already been hit. 9 of the country's ships have been destroyed, and the entire military command has gone. In retaliation, Iran has targeted neighboring Gulf states. This morning, smoke was seen rising from the vicinity of the U.S. Embassy in Kuwait, while the U.S. military said 3 U.S. fighter jets crashed due to an apparent friendly fire incident. All crew members ejected safely.
The State Department has a worldwide worldwide caution alert for Americans everywhere, with many U.S. embassies in the Middle East either evacuated or with a shelter-in-place order. Israel has been under counterattack on two fronts. Hezbollah launching rockets from Lebanon, prompting a deadly Israeli retaliation, as Iran also keeps firing.
New incoming ballistic missile fire hitting Israel today in the southern city of Beersheba. At least 10 people were wounded and taken to a local hospital when one of those Iranian missiles slipped past air defense systems.
Fox's Trey Youngston, Tel Aviv, at least 9 Israelis have died in the Iranian attacks. Oil prices are surging. Stock market sell-off looms. America's listening to Fox News.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Can't afford to fill your grocery bags or gas tank? Fill your day with the best conservative talk for free by downloading the Extra 1063 app wherever you download your apps.
Tug and Los until 10. Morning, y'all. This is the Morning Extra, an Extra 1063 on a crazy busy day. After a crazy busy weekend, we'll listen to Toby Keith for a second.
My daddy served in the army. We lost his right eye.
And we can all relate to that. Everybody knows somebody who has served and maybe knows somebody who has been injured in their service. So our thoughts and prayers are with our warriors, the people that volunteer to serve this nation, to volunteer to defend this nation, the bravest and the finest that we have.
I love that. And then I need the levity part too. And the levity part has been seeing all the videos of very large, very fat J.D. Vance. AI videos have him taking part in
like the F-22 or something.
In these operations.
Yes, it's so good, yeah.
And so I'm sitting back so amazed and proud of these servicemen and women and all the work that they've been able to do and their precision. And then I also get this end, which is just something to make you laugh about.
Absolutely.
Hey.
You have to.
This is how this administration is handling this. They roll in that giant, large, curly-haired, freaky-looking guy. And they're like, that's JD.
That's JD Vance right there. He's
I mean, look at him. He's piloting the plane.
Dude, some more levity though, if you want. Did you see the one of Lane Kiffin?
I saw that he was announced as the new Ayatollah.
Yes, he's like, I appreciate everything that I've been able to accomplish at LSU for the last 3 weeks.
Hold on. This is my favorite part of this one. As J.D. Vance is taking off in the fighter, there's Pete Hegseth in the background nodding knowingly like, Godspeed.
Yes, Godspeed. Godspeed, warrior. So great, man. There's just nothing better than being able to reflect and realize that things are serious and things are tense. But we have to be able to laugh. You have to be able to laugh, especially in the hardest of times, because if you can't, that's when you fall into despair. And I've seen that many, many times with people that they just aren't able to. They're not able to step back. They're not able to have that levity. And J.D. Vance with a curly red mane, blowing in the wind, driving what appears to be an F-15.
Just standing there like Top Gun.
That's right. And then comes back in all heavy set.
And of course, Hegseth like shaking his hand, and suddenly this J.D. Vance caricature, he's like 5'4".
Yeah, that's right. This is great, man.
So funny.
If you see really funny stuff like this, because look, we all need to laugh, especially right now. It's a really serious time, but if you see it, make sure you tag us at Front Office Lows, at Tug Cowards, and at Xtra 1063. It's so good.
There's a piece of audio, and we didn't get to it because we've been so heavy with covering this press conference, and we don't even need to play it now. I just want to make people aware of it. You do realize that we've now gotten like the signal that every time Donald Trump jokes around about a third term, and the left goes nuts for like 24 hours. Like, oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
He then executes some sort of plan, some sort of maneuver, so that while they're squawking like crazy chickens.
Over nothing.
Then suddenly something else happens. And now they have to change their rage once again to something different. And he's already pretty much set him up to, no one's paying attention to you because you sound crazy.
And they do.
And then by the time that there's something legitimate, that if you want to get crazy about it, be crazy about it. But you already burned it. He's doing this consistently.
Yeah. Well, it's because he knows how they're going to react.
He knows how to play them.
He plays them like a fiddle. He knows the media well, and he plays them like a fiddle. And he knows he knows the left well.
We might look into a third term. Everyone goes nuts. Then they strike Iran.
Yeah, that's right. Our friend David, great listener to the show, called in. And he was like, I haven't seen anybody interview Obama. Since he was the one giving Iran pallets of money and stuff. Nobody's put a microphone in his face quite yet. David makes a great point, and I look forward to it. I'm sure he's trying to come up with some genius way to tear down the United States, some way to tear down Donald Trump and the administration and what we're able to accomplish.
I would just ask the question, that after you give them $400 million in pallets of cash, how did that nuclear program continue to move forward?
Well, yeah.
Because it moved forward underneath your deal.
That's right.
Trump tears it up, and now the left has this, well, the only reason it moved forward because Trump tore up the deal. It was already moving forward with your money and your deal.
You had already paid for it.
The only people that have decided seriously that Iran can't have a nuclear weapon is this administration.
Yeah, that's it.
Because the Biden and Obama administrations were like, sure, cool. Yeah, it'll probably destabilize the region. At the very worst, it'll threaten Israel, if not knock them off the map entirely.
Which we have no use for to begin with.
Love to have that happen, allegedly. This is the play.
Absolutely right.
And so I don't know how it's going to turn out. But when I got up Saturday morning and started reading about what had gone on and what had been accomplished, that was the assertion of American power that when it happens under this administration, it looks like it's been actually working because it's turned into a certain level of chess that's beyond just regular chess.
Yeah, it's not checkers.
It's messing with stuff all around the world.
No, it is. And squarely at the feet of the Chinese, like we are really doing damage to their ability to maintain their economy, which is already shaky at best. But all the really cheap oil that they're importing now, at least 20% of it, has been put to a complete halt. And you're taking out Chinese proxies everywhere. And not only you've been really stabilizing our own hemisphere with more people that are like-minded versus crazy leftist socialists. I mean, you're putting them in a headlock as well.
Think about how Ayatollah Khomeini had been going through so much operational security that the belief was, well, they won't be able to hit us. In fact, especially
they wouldn't even attempt
during daylight hours. No way. And now that he's been buried in rubble and he's dead, and so are a lot of his close confidants, how paranoid must you be if you're still within that Iranian regime and wondering who is feeding the Mossad and the CIA this information?
Where's the mole?
Who's feeding this information?
And it's not just one, though. That's the thing I would be certain of.
It's got to be a network.
I would imagine. As you've had special operators, you had CIA on the ground for a long time. I mean, and then those in recruiting those people in the regime that probably do what they have to do to stay alive, knowing that it's not great for their country and knowing that they would like to see change in their own country. That's the reason that they gave away all those secrets.
And it does make it a very perilous situation because now you even had the second in command who was going to be taking over this. Okay, dead in an airstrike. Someone is going to be operationally running Tehran. There's a reason why these missiles keep being fired off. Somebody's making the call on this stuff. How weird must it be, Tug, when you think about it? Your only real operational security is to round up everyone in your regime and be like, all right, we got to kill like 90% of these people because we don't know. Yeah. We don't know who it is. You're basically setting up your own demise. So if you don't do that, well, then you're going to have somebody who's going to continue to feed our intelligence.
It's still coming out.
Information.
Yeah, that's right. I love the fact, it's just something we talked about earlier too. Realistic expectations. Pete Hegseth talked about. We're not led by some utopian dream. We're not socialists pretending that utopia is even achievable. In the United States, it's not achievable. Utopia is not achievable anywhere with broken people in a broken society. So they're not projecting some sort of utopian outcome for Iran.
Do you remember when we were taught like the American Revolution in school? It made it sound like such a glorious battle.
Oh, yeah. It seemed like American flags flying and fireworks and jets flying over.
Mom and apple pie and hot dogs, and then we got our independence.
Yep.
It was ugly.
Absolutely.
It was absolutely 100% ugly. It pitted loyalists against patriots to the point where when they got opportunities to, they would slaughter at each other. Like, it was brutal. And so to think that there is such a thing as utopian regime change, it's a fallacy. It doesn't happen that way unless you go in and conquer a country, and even then we've seen where it doesn't work. So I think what Secretary Hegseth brought up was very clear-eyed. There is not probably going to be a utopian answer to this. And what I believe the answer is going to be is whoever is the next regime, whoever ends up being identified as we are now the ones in charge, it becomes, are you going to stop being religious fanatics and do you want to sit at the table and talk? Because we've now established there will be no talks as long as you're doing anything with a nuclear weapon or with nuclear power. And none. Zip. Zilch. We'll just keep bombing you.
We've already hit 1,000 targets. And that's not just in Tehran. That's military installations and I guess the Ayatollah administration, if you would call it that. Those places that they save and stockpile weapons and all those things. So we're strategically taking them apart. There's not a way for this to be perfect. And I'm glad I was trying to pull up the messages I had sent. And we had a great listener named Thomas that we're going back and forth this weekend via email. And that's the first thing that I brought up to him because he was concerned about who takes over in that power vacuum of the country of Iran. And I said,
what's going to happen regardless.
Yeah, absolutely it is. And I said, if you think about our own revolution, this is why I'm so happy you brought that up, because I said the same thing to him. If you think about our own revolution and how difficult it was, like it's beautiful that it turned out the way that it did, but how was anybody to know in the moment? You know what you're fighting for, you know what you hope for, you know what you're looking for, but how brutal it was, how ugly at times it was, and how imperfect it was. And I said the hand of God had to be behind it, or it wouldn't have turned out to this American experiment to be what it was. And I would like to think that's probably the same thing with Iran. Is it going to be ugly at times? Absolutely. But are there better days ahead knowing that one of the most evil people that have ever walked the face of the earth in Ayatollah Khomeini is dead? Absolutely it is.
I'm not going to go with absolutely. What I'm going to say is this. There's now a chance. Because in the last month, just as we were talking about, Tug, and as you noted, if the number is as high as 40,000 people were rounded up and killed of your own people to shut down protests, then you know that is like the baseline of this is as bad as it gets. And the person responsible for it is now gone. All right, what happens from here? There's a chance now that things improve there. And that maybe there might be some level of freedom that these people are able to enjoy. I mean, but you weren't ever going to have it if these people were still in charge. Ever.
Going to have it. And more than likely, another 20, 30, 40,000 people would be slaughtered at just the thought, at just the hint of we're going to protest.
When we had the Arab Spring, now 15 years ago or so, you were picking, at least the administration under Obama was picking sides. Like, okay, well, where's the right side of this? And you didn't do it right everywhere. So I get it that you have Pete Hegseth basically saying there is no utopian portion to this. This is going to be about, from first and foremost, if it's a porcupine, we're cutting off all the quills. Then we'll talk.
And he followed that up by saying, with the utopian conversation, Iranians, now's your time. Right? We're setting the condition so you have the choice. And that's what it reminded me of the conversation about our own revolution. 250 years ago, we had the choice. There were many factions going many different directions, no different than the Iranians are experiencing right now, or will get to that point where it could go any way, and it is on them to choose. This is not going to be an endless war, which is what Pete Hegseth pointed out, and Donald Trump has said too. We're going to be clear, decisive, and devastating, and we're going to hand it to you. I'm sure we're going to hold their hand. We're going to set them in a position where they can make good decisions. They will have an ally in the United States if it does go that way. But there's no way to know, just like the founding fathers of this country didn't know. They hoped, but they didn't know.
It was pointed out during the Pentagon briefing by Secretary Hegseth. He made a point about how, yes, will the Iranian people see this moment and take a shot at it? Like you would hope so. But he also made a point, and when it comes to the security forces, President Trump has made it a point, keeping an eye. Because if you can get the Iranian security forces to no longer be basically the brown shirts, the black shirts for the mullahs, and they actually turn and decide, okay, we're not going to do this bidding, we're actually going to side with the people, then this thing's done. But that's the question here.
Big if.
It's a big if.
Yeah, no doubt.
Because apparently they really don't have much of a problem rounding up 40,000 people and putting them to death.
Goodness. And then when I loved when Secretary Hegseth talked about how I and the president have your back. Because I don't know that everybody felt that way when we were leaving Afghanistan. There was no plan. It was admitted that there was no plan at all. We're going to do it. We're going. We're leaving. And whatever happens, happens. And we lost.
We had a plan in place that was working. We had not had an American casualty as a result of opposing forces in the better part of a year. And the Biden administration, because they needed a victory, they wanted to basically be able to have here's one of the moments that we get our own victory over September 11th. Well, let's move up the date by which we're getting out of here. Let's go down. And totally botch that. That is, you want to just talk about night and day difference in how you run an operation in which 13 Americans are murdered outside of Abbey Gate from a bomb. And you've now run 3 operations into 2 hostile countries and haven't lost a person on any operation. You're going into a hostile country and executing complicated tasks, and you haven't lost a person. But yet the Biden administration, in their willingness to just be willy-nilly, the teachers' lounge decided we need a victory, and they're not professional, and they are not serious people, and they got 13 members of our armed services killed. And tell me the difference.
Yeah.
It's very clear. Here's 100 people that are probably taking part in these operations, and not one person got killed.
Serious people.
Yes.
Unserious people.
War fighters, Hegseth. Hey, it's a Fox News weekend guy.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Dude's batting 1,000. Dude's batting 1,000.
So far, so good.
Anybody that looks at what we've been involved in the operations we've conducted, he is hitting home runs. Trump has 0 losses.
I want to know more about what's going on the ground. That's really because the more protests, because we're seeing them all around I'm saying protest. They're protesting the mullahs, the Iranian government, but they are celebrating Donald Trump and this administration. And that's happening all around the world. It's more of, all right, now let's see what's happening in Tehran.
Yeah.
That's where the information, they're going to cut the internet off and we're going to have to figure it out as we go.
I want to play one piece of audio in the next segment, and it is from Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of War, directly to our men and women in uniform. It made me literally get cold chills and stand up and salute. It was unbelievable. It'll be quick, and then we'll get into the other parts of the conversation, but I think it's so valuable to know what he said to our warfighters and why it matters. Next on Extra.
Support the advertisers and partners that share your values. Give our Extra advertisers the first shot to earn your business. They will deliver for you every time and support the Extra community like no one else. Connect with all of our partners online at extra1063.com.
When you think about the spring, you start getting into late March. What is the first things come to mind if you're in Georgia? It's green, and you can write your name on your car when it starts, happening. That is the pollen. Pollen season is upon us. I mean, it is so close. And if you want your home to have breathable air, then reach out to Chuck and his team at Central Heating and Air Conditioning. They are your trusted carrier partner and install an industry-leading carrier system backed by strong warranties and peace of mind that comes with proven performance. You can breathe inside your home. And everybody, whether you have rough allergies like a lot of us around here do, or it's just an annoyance, wouldn't you like to be able to leave your car, walk inside, and know that the air inside your home is clean? Complete home performance solutions. Delivered by Central Heating and Air Conditioning with over 79 years experience working in Atlanta. A second-generation, locally owned Atlanta company. Call them today to clean up that air. Obviously, you want your heating and air working, yes. But you want the air that you breathe inside your home to be healthy and clean, too. 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com carrier. And Central are a great partner. And you can get the benefit of working with both of them. 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com.
For a lot of drivers, the question isn't, should I buy a Toyota? It's, where should I buy it? Because the dealership matters long after the paperwork is signed. My good friends at Marietta Toyota, well, they've built their reputation the right way. Trust, consistency, and of course, most importantly, taking care of the neighbors and customers for over 50 years, proudly serving the Marietta area since 1975. You get real selection, straightforward answers, and a team that respects your time. Here's the difference most dealerships don't include. Every new Toyota comes with our nationwide lifetime powertrain warranty. That's valid for unlimited time and unlimited mileage for as long as you own your Toyota. That's long-term confidence backed by Toyota quality and supported by a full team here after the sale with service and genuine Toyota parts on Cobb Parkway South. It's time for you to visit Marietta Toyota on Cobb Parkway South, about 3 miles north of Truist Park. Marietta Toyota. We've been here, and we'll be here for you.
Nationwide lifetime powertrain warranty included with every new Toyota purchase. See dealer for coverage details, exclusions, and requirements.
The Braves 2026 gate giveaways are here, and this season is packed with must-have items. From the Braves Legends collection featuring iconic Braves alumni to the crossover jersey collection with Braves basketball, football, hockey, and soccer jerseys, there's something for every fan. Plus, fans can look forward to some new additions like a Hawaiian shirt, cowboy hat, and a bobble card series. It's part bobblehead, part baseball card. Visit Braves.com/promos to see the full lineup and grab your tickets. Atlanta Braves Baseball. We are Braves country.
Up to $200 just for going to the doctor. Not a reimbursement, not a discount. Money paid directly to you. When was the last time your health insurance did that? Hey, it's a Kimmer. How's it going? Check this out. Most plans do the opposite. You pay every month, then you get hit with a deductible, then the bill starts showing up. That's not insurance, that's a subscription. If you're afraid to use your health insurance, you don't have insurance, you have a bill waiting to happen. But some plans are structured differently. They can pay you up to $200 per visit. Cash benefits paid directly to you. Here's what you get. Some people are leaving marketplace plans, saving up to 60% a month. No open enrollment, no waiting, available year-round. If you're paying too much or avoiding the doctor because of cost, call my friend Steven, the health insurance doctor. In 10 minutes, you'll know if you're overpaying. 678-523-0759. Or visit healthinsurancedoctor.net. The right plan pays you to go to the doctor. 678-523-0759. healthinsurancedoctor.net.
It's official. President Trump has endorsed Burt Jones for governor.
Burt Jones has been an incredible leader. This man has my complete and total endorsement, and I really want to see him win.
Burt Jones is a trusted Trump conservative who's leading the fight to end Georgia's state income tax.
He's going to make a great, great governor. You will be very happy, Georgia. Burt Jones has my complete and total endorsement.
Paid for by Burt Jones for Georgia.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Monday, March 2nd, and here are your headlines. The father of Lincoln Riley has filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the University of Georgia school system and owners of a local Athens apartment complex, alleging the university school system failed to provide a safe environment in Athens and claimed the Argo apartment complex, where the convicted killer lived, did not adequately screen tenants. The suit seeks $1 million in damages and claims negligence in the events leading up to her killing. Brian Wright, former senior pastor of Johnson Ferry Baptist Church in Marietta and founder of Right from the Heart Ministries, is sheltering in place in Jerusalem with his wife Ann and others after the U.S. airstrikes in Iran over the weekend. Marietta-based pastor says their group is safe but has taken cover in a hotel bomb shelter amid missile alerts and airspace shutdowns while waiting for a safe opportunity to return home. And finally, Cobb County will honor 31 of its star students and teachers at its annual Student Teacher Achievement Recognition Banquet, recognizing the district's highest SAT scores and the educators they selected as having the greatest impact on their academic success. The event highlights top performing seniors from high schools across the county and will occur March 3rd at 6 p.m. Today's weather is partly cloudy with a high of 71 and a low of 51. With your Extra 106.3 headlines, I'm Bryce Gobert.
We can't figure out who to negotiate with because they're all dead. Every one of them are dead. Los just had a great tweet that was shared on Instagram, or Twitter rather, that was just that.
It was a reporter question to Donald Trump. And it has it from ABC News chief Washington correspondent Jonathan Karl. And he asked Trump about what if they had identified possible candidates that, hey, if this person comes to power in Iran, in Tehran, can you work with them? And he says the quote that he has here is, quote, "The attack was so successful, it knocked out most of the candidates. It's not going to be anybody that we were thinking of because they're all dead. Second or third place is dead."
That's right. This is...
That's one way to put it.
That's air superiority. That's sea superiority. That's land superiority. That's everything that we've set out to do. Our goals are being accomplished in Iran. I love it. We had played it earlier as it was happening live here on Extra 106.3. The joint conversation, the joint press conference about the day and what's happened up until this point with Pete Hegseth and General Raisin Kane, which is his call sign, across every domain, land, air, sea, cyber, the joint U.S. force delivered synchronized and layered effects designed to disrupt, degrade, deny, and destroy Iran's ability to conduct and sustain combat operations, which is that was the whole point. Protect ourselves first and then prevent Iran from projecting any power outside of its own country. Mission accomplished.
That's the goal
so far.
Now they're going to keep firing all around the entirety of the Middle East.
Still happening all day and has been happening. More civilian targets been hit. There's all kinds of stuff that have been going on. But
I think operationally, if they keep firing, you keep firing.
Yeah, right. Now there is a worry too when you talk about utopian versus realistic. There is some of that is worrisome to me when it comes to our own munitions. Like, there's only a certain amount of Patriot batteries you have, THAAD batteries, defense batteries you have, even Patriot missiles and Tomahawk missiles. there's only a certain amount of those, and it takes a while to replenish. And we were already, it was relatively known that we were already low on some of those. I wouldn't imagine they're giving exact numbers on, they're just saying, hey, this could be a problem in the future. Depends on how long this goes and whatever else we have to do. I don't think it's anything that makes me lose sleep at night, but I think it's worth noting.
Well, if you are having to spread yourself out over a significant area with defensive battery capabilities, yeah, you do have to be concerned. Now, are we going to get to a point where Tehran decides that firing missiles is not working any longer because they keep bombing hell out of us?
Yes, I do believe they will.
You just want to take that will away.
And then what comes after that? Because I don't think they lose their will necessarily. I think they lose their ability, to your point. And then it becomes sleeper cells. And you have to be vigilant and ready. And that is what Hegseth and General Kane talked about, too, for sleeper cells and terrorists inside of the United States, like the thing that happened in Austin.
So here is my, over the next week, here's what my question becomes. Because Tehran has been known, whenever they're hit with an attack, they will typically retaliate, but they retaliate in a way of trying to save face at times.
Well, and to that point, remember when we hit them with Midnight Hammer, they coordinated with the White House to be able to launch.
When we were going to fire, what they were going to do.
And Qatar, I believe, is where it went.
And so,
it went near the base.
They shot at a military base, knowing it wasn't going to hit.
And knowing that, so everybody had already left.
But it was a show of force, of strength for their administration and for their people. Look, they hit us and we hit them back. We hit them right back. All right, what happens if that is what this starts to become? Because it looks like they're clearly trying to hit as many things as possible. At what point is, hey, whoever's still in charge, that mentality of we'll hit them back for the strength of the nation, well, you're next.
Yeah, right. You're the next person to get picked off.
Until you get to the point where somebody says, hey, maybe we should stop shooting. Maybe that's a good idea.
I don't know that anybody in the current regime has that switch. You know what I mean? I think they're dyed.
You're just going to have to keep bombing until somebody gets sensible? You're going to have to keep hitting until somebody happens to go, hey, self-preservation might be an idea here.
This is probably a good idea right now. Because they've already done more than they did even with Midnight Hammer, right? Because that was a coordinated, just like we talked about. Now they're shooting all over the place. And we've into Kuwait, we talked about the 4 now service members that we've lost, which is incredibly sad. And I it breaks my heart to think about. But I know that those men and women in uniform, they did whatever it took. They will always do whatever it takes because they're the most well-trained and they love this country more than anybody can comprehend. And
well, we didn't have any issue even beforehand except for the random drone attack. Mm-hmm. And it always seemingly is that they don't have the capabilities of launching anything that's going to be massive. They just don't. They've got some weapon systems. This is a regime that years ago when it was like attacking our barracks and our embassies and getting 200 people at a time. Like those days are over with. Like you know who they are. This is why you stand on like this precipice of history. And so much of this is being talked about by Iranians of Donald Trump has done what they've been calling for years. This administration has done what they have been praying for years. But I would say now it's y'all's time. Y'all figure out how to take this power back from these people that have no interest in doing things that are logical or peaceful.
And there's Iranians all over that country. We have a dear friend of the show. I won't bring up his name right now, but has
Jeff.
Yes, we'll call him
Dave.
Jeff. We can call him Jeff Davis.
Jeff Davis.
There we go.
He's very, very Iranian.
Yeah. He has family in the north of Iran, and they're celebrating this because they see this as an opportunity to secure their future, a future that they would not have had on 2/28. They wouldn't have had an opportunity in front of them. Does it mean it goes perfectly? No. Does it mean that it's easy? No. Does it mean it's clean and prim and proper? No. But do you want the opportunity, or do you want to live under oppression? Those are the two options. But I think everybody always goes to the opportunity.
That was the lesson of the Arab Spring, is when you started to have governments that were getting protesters in the streets as they were looking for more human rights and humane treatment and more democracy and more ability to be able to have a say in their government. And that started to show up in some of these countries where that is not allowed. They were looking for American support. Because, right, aren't we the great harbinger of freedom in this world?
The beacon, yeah.
And what did Barack Obama do?
Let him down.
Let's put out a red line. And then that didn't really happen. There was no red lines. There wasn't no, like, you can't do that to your citizens. Gas them all you want, I guess. They're not going to say anything to you. So this is a different opportunity. And it's taken a much stronger president, and one, and this is the part I love, that doesn't need to seek re-election. So all the things that ordinarily you'd be worried about, well, what happens when the military-industrial complex doesn't like what you're doing, and they align against you to make sure that they put a whole bunch of money and you don't get reelected. Sorry, you should have just let them have 2020. Right. Now you're getting the very most fun. Dad's home, right. And Dad's running things. And Dad gets to do this for about 3 years.
And Dad has put together his office well.
Yes, he has.
I want to play this because I've been teasing it. And we'll go with Hegseth 2 here. Bryce, it is when he's talking directly to our men and women in uniform, the bravest and the finest, the best trained, and it is on display. Questions about Pete Hegseth have been answered. He has rose to the occasion. He's not just the weekend anchor at Fox. He's much more than that. He's talking directly to our troops.
We are warriors, trained to kill the enemy and break their will. History is watching. Be the force you swore an oath to be: focused, disciplined, lethal, and unbreakable. We will finish this on America First conditions of President Trump's choosing. Nobody else's, as it should be. And know this above all: President Trump and I have your back, always. Through fire, through criticism, through fake news, through everything. We unleash you because you are the best, most powerful, most lethal fighting force the world has ever seen. May Almighty God watch over you and his providential arms of protection extend over you. Godspeed, warriors, and keep going.
God, dude. I better go get my Cracker Jacks, man. I'm not kidding. It gave me cold chills when I first heard it, when we played it live last hour. I didn't know it would give me the same feeling when we replayed it because I'd already heard it before, and it did.
You know, this is what happens to the left, and as I talked about in an earlier hour, about the low testosterone left.
Yeah.
The ones that run from responsibility and don't understand men or American strength, and they certainly don't understand the application, or they can't handle the application of American strength. They lack their own. They don't get it. So when Pete Hegseth a couple weeks ago does that workout,
yeah,
and he benches 300 pounds,
yeah,
and everybody in that building goes crazy, the left is like, well, look how they made that stage. Look how they made him. They were all cheering for him, and the weights are fake. It's like,
okay.
First off, you've never been, in this case, in an Army weight room. Ain't no thing as such a fake weight.
Where are you going to get fake weights?
Okay.
And you're telling me that somebody wouldn't be like, hey, by the way, that's fake right over there. Somebody would.
And to see them go nuts, all the other soldiers there, it's because as they look at it, that old man just went ahead and benched 300 pounds. What excuse do I have?
None.
And I think he just gets it. He's
a soldier, dude.
When he was selected for this, everyone's like, Donald Trump, why'd you go get this guy? He's good on TV. That's important. But with his service background and the multitude of theaters he's been in, who better to be that guy who can convey the message while also getting this thing cleaned up, because he does not believe in any of the DEI and other BS that had happened.
Godspeed, warriors.
Awesome.
We have your back. And that was a direct shot, I do believe, at the Biden administration. We won't kick you out of our military for not taking an experimental shot. And we won't lead you to your slaughter like they did in Afghanistan in that weird departure, that embarrassing moment that the Democrats will wear for the rest of time. We have you back. This is the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. We'll wrap up the show next. And maybe put a smile on your face, too.
Extra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Monday, March 2nd. The Atlanta Hawks are now back to 500 as they beat the Portland Trailblazers last night in blowout fashion, 135-101 at State Farm Arena. The Hawks are now 31-31 with 20 games in the regular season to play and hold the 9th spot in the Eastern Conference playoffs. They are off until Wednesday night. From the NFL over the weekend, as the NFL Scouting Combine was concluding, the Falcons fired assistant coach LaTroy Lewis after allegations of a sexual assault surfaced against him. Ann Arbor police confirmed they are investigating the matter, which reportedly occurred in late 2024. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Thousands of veterans across Georgia are missing out on the benefits they've earned through their service. The Warrior Alliance is changing that by connecting veterans and their families to life-changing resources and support. Tune into the Warrior Alliance Network, our podcast and radio show dedicated to helping veterans succeed after service. Join us every Saturday at 11 a.m. on 106.3 to hear inspiring veteran stories, discover free programs, and learn about career opportunities available to you. Subscribe to the Warrior Alliance YouTube channel today.
Is your entire home winter ready? Every entry point? Cold air is invading your home through your windows, entry doors, and your biggest entry point, your garage door. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage and Entry Doors. Keep that cold air out of your home and save on your heating bills with energy-efficient windows, entry doors, and garage doors from All Four Seasons. We're proud to be celebrating a quarter-century of quality work and customer care. All the number 4 seasonsgarages.com.
Did you know that there are over 34,000 lawyers in the state of Georgia? Yet despite that huge number, Bruce Hagen was recently named by his peers as one of the top 100 lawyers in the state. Do you know who is not among the top 100 lawyers in the state? Some clown standing on top of an 18-wheeler. Those kind of lawyers may make flashy ads, but they're just marketers, not real lawyers. If you've been injured in a car wreck, you need Bruce Hagen, a real lawyer who tries cases and wins. Call Bruce Hagen. He's the real deal for your injury case. Hagen-law.com.
There's no championship league for small business owners, but if there was, you'd be at the top of the standings. Because going pro with Lenovo Pro means you've got the winning formation, one-on-one advice, IT solutions, and customized hardware powered by Intel Core Ultra processors help you stay ahead of the competition. Business goes pro with Lenovo Pro. Sign up for free at lenovo.com/pro.
Lenovo.
Securing America.
During the recent State of the Union address, President Trump awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor to 100-year-old former Navy fighter pilot Captain Royce Williams for his actions in a dogfight against 7 Soviet MiGs during the Korean War in November of 1952.
Royce led the takedown of 4 enemy jets and almost destroyed the others.
The day after the speech, Williams was inducted into the Pentagon's Hall of Heroes, where he downplayed his actions, which took place despite his plane being hit with over 260 bullets.
Set out to be good at whatever I do for my country.
However, War Secretary Pete Hegseth countered,
"You showed a grateful nation the definition of heroism."
Williams' response? Very simple.
All I say is, God bless America.
Kevin Uretsky, Fox News.
Need a break from all the political talk? Tune into Holy Crap It's Sports with Pete Davis every weekday at 5:20 on The Kimmer Show. It's your daily dose of what's hot in the sports world, from the field to the locker room, with Pete's unfiltered opinion and a side of laughs. It's smart, it's funny, it's sports with edge. Holy Crap It's Sports. Catch it at 5:15 only on The Kimmer Show on Extra 106.3.
Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 106.3 after a splendid day. Thank you for being here and supporting the Morning Extra and Extra 106.3. with everything that's happening across the globe and around the country, you got to be vigilant. You got to be dialed in. You got to pay attention. And I think that's some of the message that you're hearing from, leaders out of D.C. and leaders even locally here in Atlanta. Be vigilant. If you see something that just doesn't feel right, say something. Now's the time to do it.
And if you get a chance to treat a leftist like I treated my dad over the weekend, it's good.
Do that too. But it's funny.
Good.
Funny. Yeah, right. It is.
We were at the pool. It was me and it was 3 other volleyball dads and myself and my dad who was there, and we started into this discussion about what was going on in the bombing of Iran, and my dad decides to suddenly jump in. He's like, I don't listen to his radio show, but do y'all know what's happening with that money in Venezuela from their oil? And the guys are like, no. He's like, well, they're putting it over here. And I go, Pop, I'm just going to tell you right now. I know you live in San Antonio, and you feel like there's probably a lot of people that are liberal. None of these guys are.
Yeah, right.
I was like, in fact, you're the weird person at the table. I was like, so you can take your stuff from Mother Jones or wherever else the weird stuff you get, and you can just and the funny part was, like, all the other guys aren't saying anything, but they're kind of like, glad you handled that.
Well, yeah, because it's not like they're going to say anything off color to you, Dad.
But it's the whataboutism.
Yeah. What about this?
Well, what about? Yeah. It's like, we're talking about the bombing of Iran. Just because you're not paying attention, well, that's on you. The fact that this audience pays attention, they're ready to have this discussion with people. And in some cases, you set them straight, or in some cases, you go, okay, I hadn't thought about that. We're pretty aligned. It'd be interesting.
Yeah. Thankfully, I've not been around anybody to even have any pushback, but had it would have gone something like that. I feel
well,
certain.
That's because you don't recognize war crimes when they happen, Tug Cowart.
Of course I don't. I've actually been in theater, so I'm not sure.
I'm sure that you committed war crime during your times.
That's right.
How many tomahawks did you help shoot off?
I've seen a lot fired. I've seen at the time F-14s and FA-18s leaving an aircraft carrier loaded down and coming back empty. And that was one of my things. I would take my little camcorder. That used to be a thing. And I would record the side number, just film it and film the takeoff. And then when it came back empty. So I have those still at home. Like, here's what happened.
Over the weekend, it was another end of this. When the left couldn't wait to tell you about did you know how the Americans and the Israelis hit a school? You killed a bunch of girls. It's like, as it turns out, it was an Iranian misfire.
Iranian misfire, yep.
They're the ones that did it.
And they even
admitted to such.
That's exactly right, dude. Nuts. But leftist, man.
Because the video wasn't helpful enough where you actually see the other rockets take off and the one that didn't curves immediately and heads straight down.
And who puts a school? Because there was obviously near a military installation, too. There were... They build them that way for a reason. As sad as it is, you see that in Gaza. You see it with the terrorist organizations that they put schools near military installations. That way they can say if there is a miss, see, they're bombing schools. All you got to do is know what's happening, and you'll never fall for that.
That's right.
I want to leave you with a laugh. Saturday Night Live had the U.S. hockey team on, which was awesome. They caught some flack. I'm surprised they did it, but I'm happy that they did it. Pat McAfee, he was asked about covering the team's $150,000 bar tab after they won the gold medal. And you can see him, he's wearing a USA Hockey T-shirt. This is what he have to say.
I've learned in the American-Canada disagreements, I somehow find my way in the middle. And the buying of the tab felt like just, this is an obvious move.
Oh, yeah.
This is what should happen. Thought somebody else was going to do it. That obviously turns into me being a sexist, racist, everything like that, which is
so absurd.
Really cool. It's really cool that happens by a small amount of people that we cannot let.
They're having a bit of a melter.
Yeah, a lot. Basically, every day of their life, seemingly seemingly looking for melters to
a bit
have.
of a melter, yeah.
But we would like to let them know that you will never outweigh the happiness and the unity that sports bring. So you can all eat.
Yeah, and it's still coming today. There's going to be a
and they're going to go after him. They're going to continue to go after him.
Eat S,
and he doesn't care. It's kind of like us on this show when people come after us. I don't care. I just don't care.
It's like I do not care.
What I do care about is the United States of America. I care about it deeply. It is the greatest nation that's ever graced the face of the earth, and it will continue to be that way. It is a force for good where there's so many countries, Los, that aren't.
I think I've enjoyed explaining sometimes harshly to people how things actually work. And then when they want to cry about it, I'm like, ta-ta, sorry.
Yeah, I got no time for that. Got no time for that. And just like Pat McAfee, you can eat ass.
You know, the best part about Pat McAfee.
I was late to that game, by the way, and I fully admit it.
Because he built it all on his own.
They can't take it away from him.
Nobody can take it away from you.
I love it.
That was a man who was offered an NFL contract to continue his career. And he said, no, I'm good. Like, what do you mean you're good? What are you tired of punting? No. I've started my own program.
But everybody's goal is to be in the NFL.
No, I'm good. In fact,
can't be.
I'm going to make quarterback money rather than punter money.
That's right.
Like his first deal was paying him like $20 million a year. And you want him to punt a football for $2 million?
Yeah.
He's like not have to show up to not get hit, do a show with his friends, have a good time.
Yeah.
And then ESPN steps up and they're like, okay, whatever DraftKings was doing or whatever the site was, we'll do something as well.
Yeah.
And we'll put you on game day.
Yeah.
And we'll do. All right, fine. Oh, and you'll put me on TV. Okay. He's got
turned out.
I mean, those $100,000 kicks. Now, I don't know if we've got a sponsor for that. I don't know.
Insurance, I bet insurance. Because a lot of times, like I'll give you an example, a radio station will give away a car, a TV station will give away a car, and it's always insured. Like, the odds of winning it or whatever, and there's an insurance policy to pay for it in case somebody wins. That's the way it goes. So I would imagine that there's an odds and there's an insurance product there. Something tells me.
Somewhere along the lines, that man is picking up some tabs and paying for some stuff because he can.
That's exactly.
I love this guy.
Yeah. And dude.
Because it's crazy money.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely crazy money. And a guy that deserves it because he built it on his own, to your point. That's the most impressive part of it. He's a dumb jock. He's not supposed to be able to do that.
If they didn't make you, they can't break you. It's the same problem that applies to Donald Trump. The left has never understood it because typical tactics, when it comes to politicians, they work. Not on Trump, because he didn't need them to become Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
If that is the scenario by which you do not owe anybody your success, that it is owned on your own account, that by the time you jump into whatever your next venture is, what are they going to do? Like, I think this is like a really great story. Michigan has a coach on their staff who's a billionaire. Okay? Like, he built his own business. He sold it. Whenever they get a chance, like, interview him, talk to him, or it's like he feels like he's living the greatest time of his life. But at no point if a school says, hey, we're going to let you go, what, do you think he's going to grovel?
No, he's all right.
All right.
I'll find something.
I'll go to the next one.
Yeah, I'll find something to do.
Because they didn't make him.
They can't break
Can't break him.
Yep. That'll do it for us. Thank you so much for being here. Look forward to talking to you again tomorrow as this operation continues in Iran. We continue to pray for our nation. We continue to pray for our men and women in uniform, for their safety. And Lord, just guide them. Guide the decision makers, too, like Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump and everybody else that's involved. And I'm blown away by the American resolve, because it's as strong as it's ever been. So for Front Office Los and Bryce, my name is Tug. Y'all come back now. You hear?
up with all of our shows and the latest headlines by following Xtra 1063 on Instagram, X, Facebook, Truth Social, and all your social media platforms. Plus exclusive giveaways and more. So follow now at XTRA 1063.
Hi, it's Los, here with Tom Mitchell, the Honest Car Guy. Tom, you are changing the way people are buying their next pre-owned car or truck. How are you doing it?
You know, Los, we found a better way for customers to buy a car. An honest way, a very transparent way. You pay what we pay plus our honest fee.
How do you prove that?
We even prove it to you by giving you a copy of the bill of sale at the end of the deal.
How much can people save when they buy their next vehicle with the Honest Car Guy?
I've saved people upwards of $20,000 and $30,000. I mean, it really depends on the year, the make, the model of the car, and the price of the car. You know, on a $15,000 car, I can't save you $20,000. We can probably save you $2,000 or $3,000. But it's through the course of the whole sale. The big one here that people don't realize, the financing. You go into the dealership, they tell you your rate's 9%, or really it's probably 7% because they're allowed to make 2 points on there. The Honest Car Guy, you'll save an average of $5,000 to $10,000 depending on the price of the car.
Folks, if you want to save thousands on your next pre-owned car or truck, try the Honest Car Guy. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1, or honestcarguy.com.